Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl again. I don't know if this is working. I don't know if anybody could see this anywhere, but if you can, then it is what it is. We did our best here, and hopefully this is working. I think it is. I see that on Rumble it's working. I don't know if anybody will follow from one stream to another.
Yep.
It is. If you're on Rumble, there is another stream going on there. Whew. Hopefully somebody will find it, and if not, then
Oh goodness.
we genuinely apologize. I don't really know what happened here. I really tried my best, but
I'd say I'm certain it's a Rumble Studio thing. Unfortunately, we were both getting booted repeatedly as soon as we would live. We'd each be in there for a few seconds, and then it was just being kicked right out. So hopefully, we've gotten this all figured out at this point, and we can
yeah, I'll
we can
try
fall back
it.
here onto a different platform to get things working for today. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, I basically, we're on Rumble too, and in the previous video, I put a link for where they can find us. I don't know if that'll help. I don't know if anybody will find us, but I did the best I could under the circumstances, and more than anybody could ask for. Thank you everybody for your patience. We here at Price of Reason Studios, we only deal with the best technology, and we have a 70% uptime here on this channel.
It's not 9 nines like these cloud service providers, but it's close.
Exactly. And we are grateful. There's some people watching us on both platforms, and we're enjoying that. Okay, so that was
well, yeah, a little adventure to get things started today.
Definitely.
So,
okay.
Sydney Sweeney, good genes.
Good genes, yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, good day, DJ Play Nice. It's nice to see you here too. There's also something else now that I use a different streaming platform. It says it's recording us. Why does it always want to record additional files? I never asked it to record files.
Oh, it's a new setting on StreamYards to record locally, so that if there's dropouts, like then when you can like stitch that stuff back together at the end.
Ah, I see.
So, yeah.
I wish I could stop it right now, but I don't know how. It's like recording in progress. I don't even need this. Stop recording. Anyhow, we're back and better than ever. So, and this is what it looks like. By the way, this is our different layout. Did you know that there's like an alternate layout to this stream?
Oh, it looks lovely.
It is. This is it's kind of fancy, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
See, sometimes even when something seemingly negative happens, there's a silver lining. So people that always wanted to see what we look like in our alternate layout, and I see Phantom Monk managed to find the other stream, so things are happening. Oh, and I even see that one dirty bird, he gave a $2 Rumble rant. Trying to see if I can somehow showcase this one. Let me read it. This is from the new one, right? So I see one dirty bird says, for $2, the wonders of technology make you wonder sometimes. Absolutely. I'll try to also highlight your stream, your thing, but I don't see it up here yet. It's going okay, though. A little bit of drama, and now we're fine. And speaking of drama, there's been a lot of drama with Sydney Sweeney, apparently.
This just keeps going, Bryce. It's just insane.
It's so stupid. It's such a stupid. This is like, out of all the kind of weird meltdowns and things that I've seen, this has to be the dumbest one. This is just whoever's involved now in whining about this are just people that sorry, they just need to shut up. It's like this. I saw some of those videos of these like ladies whining online. They seem like the most deranged, weirdo, people I've ever seen.
Oh, they are. They're definitely some very, very deranged people. The level, just the outrage period is hilarious to me. They're like, it is such a wild reach to say, oh, she mentioned jeans and she's blonde and has blue eyes, so it must be Nazi propaganda. Like,
Yeah, and by the way, people were sharing this. I don't know if I can find it now. Let me see if I can find this thing that I bookmarked. Let me see if. Okay, are you ready?
yeah.
So Beyonce did some kind of campaign for jeans not too long ago. This is what her campaign looks like. And can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Did I share the screen or I didn't share
Yeah,
the
I can see
screen.
it. I can see it.
Oh, I shared it. Good. So basically, you have this thing here, and I didn't hear anybody complaining that she had like blonde hair or that her boobs were out. Nobody seemed offended by it. What is it about Sydney Sweeney that everybody's so offended about? Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, she's white.
Right. So that has to be part of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's white, and they had a little wordplay in there where they mentioned jeans. So instead of taking it in the most literal, honest way, which is what they meant, which is if you don't know your body and its shape and the color of your skin, the color of your hair, your eye color, uh, any number of different traits, literally hundreds, thousands of different traits within your body, how you metabolize different nutrients, how tall you are, all of it is determined by your genetic makeup. And in fact, the more researchers dig into this stuff, the more we find that things like your personality, your attributes like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? The way that you process information, quite literally, even your political affiliation, because of various different ideas that you hold and your, your predilection towards certain ideologies, all of that is influenced by your genes. But they want to focus in just very specifically on, oh well, she's white and she's blonde and she's blue-eyed, so Nazis.
it's so stupid.
It's insanely stupid.
I mean, the thing is that how do I explain this? Basically, it doesn't matter if you're white or what you are. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, you have good genes." It could have been said, Selma Hayek could have been saying there, "Oh, look, I look great. I have good genes." And I don't think anybody would have really cared about it. The fact that they turned it into some white thing is very strange to me.
Well, for these particular people, you have to recognize that everything for them is about some kind of racial animus. There's some kind of racially motivated something behind everything that happens. They have this I don't know how else to explain it. A mental disorder that
I
leads them.
I
Yeah,
usually don't want to use the R word, but if I ever wanted to use it, it would be on
yeah,
these people. They are
yeah,
so stupid. They are
yeah.
so dumb.
But they have a mental disorder that leads them to believe that all things that are happening in the world are driven by some sort of racial hatred, divisions, designs that are out there to prop up or destroy certain racial groups. It's insane. This is a company a company that has been struggling for a while now. They are not a particularly top tier brand out there fashion wise. They've been struggling for a while to to succeed in the market, and they have an ad campaign they manage. I mean, they're not a big company, right? Not a particularly popular company right now, but they managed to snag Sydney Sweeney to do an ad campaign for them, and it's a wildly successful ad campaign. A wildly successful ad campaign that features a very attractive, traditionally, attractive woman who is heterosexual and is showing off her rather attractive body. And there's this very, successful ad campaign. And the funniest part is that all of these people on TikTok who are crying and screaming and yelling at the camera about Nazis and racism and this and that and all of this ridiculous nonsense about this ad campaign with Sydney Sweeney have only given them more business. They've only given them more attention, and it's some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen. It's great. It's absolutely great.
I agree with you, but there's one thing that I'll say that I did see something that I'm starting to grow concerned about. I don't know if you noticed this initially. What happened was that TMZ reported that American Eagle basically were giving everybody the middle finger. They didn't care. They're standing behind what they're doing, and it all seemed great. But then suddenly there was some strange thing going on. Let me show you this. Let me see if I can find it. I had a bookmark for it. Again, only the best technology here. But to be fair, everything just kind of went. I had to restart. I had to do all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to share this tab. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Louis C.K. Is he going to...
Oh, he's back.
I was going to say, is he going to whack off in front of the audience or what?
Like, you know what? I'm going to say something. First of all, it's not that I'm Louis C.K.'s biggest fan. I've seen some stand-ups that I guess he made me chuckle like here and there, but it's not like I'm not like Mr. Louis C.K. Even before all the scandal, it's not like I'd be sitting around saying, "Oh, like he's so great, Louis C.K." Like, don't really care about him one way or another. But I will say this, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is probably like the stuff that you get canceled for. Are you ready, Professor?
Uh-huh.
The ladies that complained about Louis C.K., and I'm just going by their own testimony, okay? I can't believe I'm going into this. I'm going to regret speaking about this. But if I remember the story correctly, he invited them to his room, and he asked them if they would mind if he would, do naughty things in their presence, to which they said, sure, go ahead, because they thought that he was joking. And this was in his hotel room, and then it turned out that he wasn't joking. Now, I understand how this probably doesn't sound good, and if you're Louis C.K., if nothing else, you're kind of a weirdo idiot, and there's a few other words you could probably apply to him that are all true. At the same time, the ladies in the hotel room saying that it's fine is kind of strange. I guess he's a funny guy, and they thought he was telling jokes. Do you get what I'm trying to say here, Professor?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying that, like, it's a strange story to me, if nothing else, unless I didn't understand it. Did they not go to his hotel room, and did not he not say that he was going to do that, and then he did it? Now, don't get me wrong. This is all very weird. He's a weirdo. I think that maybe he wanted to use his star power, like I'm Louis C.K., and then like your ladies, you like comedy. Why don't you come to my room? And they thought that they were comedians when he saw them as his peers. Are you with me?
Yes.
They thought that he saw them as his peers, so he invited him to his hotel room so that he can listen to their jokes or something. And at the end, it turned out that once they were in his hotel room, he wanted to do some kind of activity there. This is all very weird, and I think this guy is an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, beyond idiot. You could even, like, add some things to him, unflattering words that are more serious to describe his behavior here. At the same time, I still think that, ladies, if you're not sure, if there's some kind of celebrity and he invited you to his hotel room and he's asking permission to do things in his hotel room, if you're not interested, maybe it's a good time to leave. You know what I mean? I would even say maybe maybe that's not the best place to be to begin with.
Yeah. Or perhaps once he does whip it out, you say, "Whoa, dude, put that away."
Right. You say, we were joking. We're telling jokes. We're comedians. We're all comedians in this room. We came to your hotel room because we thought you were going to tell us jokes. Also, there's also something a bit strange about that. I mean, again, I can understand that maybe because they think they're funny and he's funny, then the lines were blurred. But I think that ladies showing up to this guy's hotel room and him asking them, it's not a great look for him. It's not a great look at all. I absolutely think this man is an idiot, but I can't completely ignore the fact that in his mind, I guess he asked, you know?
Yeah. It's so weird. It's just it's
The
such
question
strange behavior and a strange situation, and it's not the same as him pulling a Cosby.
No.
It's a very strange, very different situation.
Listen, I don't know if there were 70 other things that he did aside from that, but this was the
Yeah.
big incident that everybody was talking about, and I keep thinking to myself, it seems like it could have been a misunderstanding. If it would have been, like you said, that every place he goes, this is what he does, there's like 70 cases of him showing up like at different locations in the world, like pulling out his thing and doing all this stuff, then you know what? That guy is a big problem. But if all you have is this incident, I'm not sure. I haven't investigated enough. But if you want, I want to tell you one final piece of lore that I probably should not tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So years ago, whenever this was, I was sent an invitation to see a screening of a movie. And it was like an advanced screening. And it was a screening that apparently Louis C.K. made a movie. And I think that I confirmed that I would actually go there. I think he was even supposed to be at this screening. Okay, he made some kind of movie. He was at this screening, and I was ready to go. And I think that on the day of the screening, the hotel room scandal broke. And I got an email explaining, not really giving any information why. I didn't realize what was going on. It's just like, the screening for tonight has been canceled. Abrupt, like, we're sorry for the inconvenience. And they just suddenly sent an email that everything's canceled. And I didn't even know. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's so rare that they do like a advanced screening and they just cancel it like that. It's not something that you commonly see. And then the next thing you know, I kind of looked at one of those online, I don't know where it popped up in what feed, and I'm like, I get it now. And I don't
So
even know if that
weird.
movie was ever released. I tend to think that the movie that was supposed to come out was just, they pulled the plug on it. I don't know if that movie was even ever released. Like, they didn't even want it to see the light of day just because he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if it would have been a good movie or not? I would have been the only person if the scandal would have happened the next day. I would have been one of the only people that saw that movie. But at the end of the day, I didn't even see it. Anyhow, I don't know if you like that anecdote.
No, that was
it's something, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
It is true, though. I'm not even making it like it absolutely happened to me. So this is what happened. Basically, somebody in TMZ said that somebody from American Eagle basically gave everybody the middle finger. And somebody from American Eagle said, "This is yet another example of how social media is just not reflective of real life. The absurd response from some corners of the internet is absolutely not reflective of how American Eagle's customer feels, blah, blah, blah." Then you had Doja Cat went on TikTok and mocked Sydney Sweeney and blah, 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 blah.
Well, if anyone cares what Doja Cat thinks, they can...
Doja Cat is like...
off.
Anytime I've seen Doja Cat talk, she seems kind of like an idiot. But these pictures of Sydney Sweeney are rather pleasant. I don't mind them. I think she brings a good vibe to the table. And then what happened was, after all of this, they put an update in the article. TMZ wrongly attributed the information to an American Eagle spokesperson when this post was originally published. We have reached out to American Eagle, but they had no comment. So
So they
basically,
got someone who wasn't the spokesperson.
right. But then I'm going to try. You shared something. Let me see if I can find it. You shared
Oh
this.
no!
Let me see if I can. You put something.
Oh yeah! No, I was just sharing, part of the ad campaign, and and then saying, so this to these people, this is highly offensive. This is deeply offensive to people who don't like this Sydney Sweeney ad campaign. See, they thought they wrongly believed that they owned the internet and that they owned all of society and culture, and that everything was going their way and it would always be that way, and that forever all of society would be further and further towards being queer. See, they don't like this ad. This is what they think every company should be putting out as advertising for their clothing. There's one problem. Nobody buys this crap. Nobody goes to the store, goes, oh, look, they have underwear for me. That's 1% of the population.
I'm going to tell you something else,
So
and I told you
it's
this last time.
stupid.
I don't want to see myself in these ads. That's not what I want to see. I want to see
Which one of those?
Sweeney.
Which one of those was you, Brett?
But no, I'm neither of these. Okay, but I'm just saying I'm not looking. I don't need to feel good about myself and say like, wow, I really need to see like can I see the larger size jeans? What does it look like when somebody that needs a larger jeans wear it? Like, I don't need any of that. Screw that. I want to see Sydney Sweeney looking nice. That's what I want to see. And you know what? Even if it's, let's say, an ad that has men and women in it, I also don't need the fatso. You know what I mean? Next to Sydney Sweeney, it would make sense that some guy that looks like he went to the gym and he looks like he's in shape, he's wearing the jeans. I trust if they say that they have all sizes, I trust that they have everybody's size. Do you get what I'm saying? I trust that I can go into a store, I'll find my size, I'll wear it. It's all fine. I don't need any information beyond that. I on the contrary, if you just see some like fatso walking around in jeans, why would you even want to buy them? Do you get what I mean? It has like the opposite effect. I don't want to buy it. I actually don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's unattractive, literally meaning it is not attracting customers to your business. It is not attracting people to buy your products. I don't want those gross, fatty Calvin Klein underwear and bras that fit trans men. I don't want that.
I don't want that either.
I'm not interested, and I don't want to see it. I just a few days ago, we were at it was a Target, and I think it's probably been there for a while, but I was looking around waiting on something, and then there's this ad out there, and there's a couple of teenage girls, and then a teenage something. It's not a boy, it's not a girl, it's something in between. And I'm just looking at it going, gross. Who does that even appeal to? Like, that's not, like, again, we're talking about this like 1% of the population that has been demanding you must cater to us at all times. And if you don't, then you're, an ist, you're a phobe, you're this, you're that, whatever. And it's done. It's kind of hilarious because it feels like this whole Sydney Sweeney thing, because this has been going on for a week now, Bryce, and it still keeps going. And to me, like, I think this is maybe a cultural moment. It seems ridiculous to say that Sydney Sweeney doing an ad for a middling fashion company is going to be a cultural moment, but I think it's that moment when people are starting to realize that this works, and that those people who we've been letting push us around for the last decade are just freaking nuts, and that we should never have been listening to them. They're insane. And I'm hoping, I pray that there are people out there who are seeing all of this ridiculous drama and going, what the hell are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. That's probably taking it too far, but I don't know. it's what's really funny. Have you seen did you see the Johnny Lawrence tweet?
I didn't see the Johnny Lawrence tweet. What is it?
Okay, let me pull it up for you. I'll pull it up and share it here. Come on, share.
Do I need to share it? Okay, here you go.
Yeah. So, I think this is his actual account. I could be wrong, but
I think that is it. I mean, obviously, it's not William Zabka. I just wonder if who runs this account. But yeah,
yeah,
it's cool.
I don't know. But it does have him in American Eagle. Like, so what? Like, yeah, he's a good-looking guy. He's wearing the thing. I don't know. But
what are the community notes that somebody proposed there?
I don't know.
Now I have to see what the community note is.
Oh, it says this is a parody account.
I see. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I thought it was funny.
But it is William Zabka in an American Eagle shirt. I don't think that was AI.
I'm trying to see if I can find this thing. I don't always like. I mean, I don't have anything against her, but I think this was something. Let me try to share it. Is it? I don't know if she had like a collection of these weirdos talking.
Is one of the new ads in the new ad campaign, SOT20.
You see what I did there, right? Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Okay. This is obviously a reference to her body and not to her skin color, but the lunatic left is going to do. It is universally understood that when you fire Sydney Sweeney, who is an elitist ad.
Did that right? Genes are blue.
Okay, I just want to see if she finds one of those weirdos.
Reference to her body, skin color, but the left is going to do what the lunatic left is going to do. Sydney Sweeney.
I thought that she had the actual. There was a few examples of ladies that were complaining today that looked ridiculous, but I can't seem to find the videos. Do you know where I find it?
Well, you can look for those. I can play some parody videos while you're looking.
Oh, here. I think it's this one.
The Sydney Sweeney thing to me is interesting. The Sydney Sweeney thing to me is interesting on a number of levels, and just for the people who haven't seen the story, it's everywhere. But she's an American actress. She's beautiful. She's blonde. She's got blue hair, blue eyes, and white skin. And she's in this American Eagle ad for their jeans. And the tagline is Sydney Sweeney has good genes. And now the left is completely freaked out over it, saying that this is about eugenics and white supremacy. I'm going to show the audience just some of the reaction because these nutcases, people need to know what they're sounding like. Here's a montage we put together, SOT23.
Did American Eagle just run an ad for eugenics?
Praising Sydney Sweeney for her great genes in the context of her white, blonde hair, blue eye appearance. It is one of the loudest and most obvious racialized dog whistles we've seen and heard in a while.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
And you put out an ad, a white, blonde, blue-eyed, Hitler's wet dream talking about how much she loves her genetics. It would still be fucking weird. But then you add the fact that the nation is on its last fucking leg
Meth is a hell of a drug.
Christian nationalism, white supremacist, fascist, bigot bullshit alongside a leader that has explicitly stressed the importance of being gene rich as opposed to gene natural, which falls alongside a lot of the same things that fucking Hitler promoted back in Nazi Germany. And it's not too hard to see that this shit is Nazi propaganda.
This woman needs either more
It's
or less of whatever it is she's
eugenics.
taking.
These women are particularly, we might say, genetically challenged. So the Sydney Sweeney thing to me is.
Those were some real weirdos. I mean,
that last lady, I saw her whole video, and she needs help. I'm serious. She is disturbed.
It worries me that there's people like that out there. When I see them, because I figure they're not alone. There's more ladies like these ladies that were yelling now. There's more of them. And one of the things that I think has happened over the past maybe 7 years, all this time that we were saying that all this kind of woke stuff in entertainment, in how the media was trying to push all these narratives, and people kind of brushed it aside and called us like, basement dwellers or whatever, and said strange things about us. These type of people that we're seeing, this is the result of that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is the result of a generation of people being raised on the worst values. And we kept saying in entertainment, it's important. People are like, no, it's a Space Wizards movie. You guys are dumb. It's not dumb, because when you and I were kids, you can say that maybe some of those movies we saw, there was a lot of macho whatever in it. Maybe there was. But I think that in most of the entertainment we had, there was always this feeling where people, wanted to do good. You had a hero that steps up and wants to, be better than he is and help people and do things. We had a lot of, even if they were strange, there were a lot of positive role models, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that everything we watched had positive role models, but I think that at least stuff that was more family entertainment, stuff that people went to, there were lessons to be learned. There was something. And then along came all these kind of weirdos in Hollywood and their shitty woke propaganda entertainment. And I don't think they helped anybody. I think the fact that so many young people grew up with that, the media pushing it, with all these celebrities pushing it, with Hollywood pushing it, it ended up doing damage. When you see people like this, that's part of the reason you're seeing them. You wanted to share this, I guess?
So these are, fair warning, these come from a parody account, and they are AI, but they are hilarious. Because
Okay,
you can
I'm
actually
ready.
see these people saying this stuff.
Look, all we're saying is that we want representation, okay? If Republicans are going to have beautiful girls with perfect titties in their ads, we want ads for Democrats too, We want ugly, fat bitches wearing pink wigs and long-ass fake nails being loud and twerking on top of a cop car at a Waffle House because they didn't get extra ketchup, Just because we're the party of ugly people doesn't mean we can't be featured in ads, okay? And I know most of us are too fat to wear jeans or too ugly to go outside, but we want representation. Look.
So that's one. Here's the next one with Hakeem Jeffries.
Republicans just want sexy white girls with perfectly round titties in their ads. We're here to say no to that. Democrats are the party of ugly-ass people. And we want representation, maybe some non-binary Latino midgets, maybe a couple of fat shamikas eating fried chicken and fighting at a Carnival cruise or a Waffle House, or some shit like that. Just any ugly people. If they're too ugly to go outside, that's our people. Republicans.
if they're too ugly to go outside, that's our people.
It's kind of funny. I agree. Like, I think these AI things are kind of silly. But it's funny. Somebody sent me, our friend Nick.
We'll share that one later.
The Backyard TARDIS sent something that he wanted me to show.
Okay.
I'm going to try to bring this up. I have no idea what, so please don't hold me to it. I don't even know what I'm looking at, but let's see. This is a friend of mine sent it. I guess he wanted me to share it. Or he didn't. I don't even know, but let's share it anyway. Ready? I mean, it's fine, but I think he needed to do more. Somebody with AI needed to do more with this. I didn't dislike. I didn't dislike the general idea. I think it needed more work. But thank you for sending it, Nick. In any case, I had another situation that suddenly I was booted out, but then now I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
I don't know what's happening today.
I don't know, man. Some's wacky. I don't know. My network's been brilliant. I just replaced a couple of switches and replaced my router a couple of days ago, and everything seems to be working great. So I'm happy on this end anyway.
By the way, I don't know if you know
Yeah.
this on my I don't know if you know this. I posted on my main channel some video about what we were talking. I think we talked about it last time, right here on the Night Owl, about like adjusting all those Superman movies for inflation and all this stuff. And so many people have had meltdowns over it. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand people right now. There's certain. It's like all I'm showing is numbers. Do you get what I'm saying? There's really there's no feelings involved in it. And the funniest thing is that people assume that because I'm saying all this stuff, I'm like a Snyder bro, which I'm actually not. I'm a truth bro. I just want people to tell the truth. And if a movie isn't doing well, I think it's fair enough to say this movie isn't doing so well. And Superman, you know, maybe in the domestic it's doing okay. Also, it's not doing the biggest domestic numbers ever seen on a movie. Considering that there's a summer full of flops and disappointments, it's doing a domestic number that's halfway okay. But if you take into consideration it's worldwide, it's not even that good. And even if you adjust its domestic and compare it to other Superman movies of the past, even then it's nothing special.
Yeah, it is not. This is not performing like, say, Deadpool and Wolverine last year. It's not pulling in insane numbers. People are not going to see it at the theater 4 or 5 times, telling all their friends you've got to go see this movie. Again, I'm glad there's people out there who've enjoyed this movie, Price. I am. I'm happy for them to go to the theater and see something that they enjoy and have a good time. That's great. I didn't think it was the worst movie I've ever seen. It's far from it. Far from the worst thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, I'm not just going to give it a pass and say, well, just because it's this movie, like, it deserves to be treated differently. It was okay. There was a lot about it that I got frustrated with and didn't like. And at the same time, like, it's a passable movie, but it's just not that good. And when it comes to the box office, I don't understand why there's some people that want to argue the box office numbers. We have the numbers that they've given us. I'm saying I'm taking them at their word. If they said it costs 225 and 100 million marketing, all right, or 125 marketing, whatever, that's fine. Let's stick to the number they gave us. That means whatever it turned out is 400 million is what they was their spend. That means the movie's got to break 800 million to actually make its money back, even if you just take them at their word. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to break 800. So it's not going to make back its money. Now they've said, oh, well, they'd be happy if it made 7. Oh, and then someone else said, oh, well, we'll be happy if it, even if it doesn't make 7, we'll be happy with it. But that doesn't matter. The movie's not making back its budget. If you don't hit those numbers, it's not making back its budget. And I'm just saying, and for me, it's just a matter of consistency. I'm judging it the same way I would judge anything else. I still think it's going to get to the numbers that I called out originally. I think I said about 675. You were in the same ballpark price. I think it's going to get there. I don't really think it's going to break 7. It might. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to. And then at the same time, I also think that Fantastic Four is going to come in way, way, way lower than Superman did. So
the other thing that I don't like is that, some of the people in the comments, they seem to think that I woke up one day and suddenly I developed this position, or my positions are changing, or things like that. And I ended up looking through old videos of mine to see what I said back then, what I thought of James Gunn's plans, what I was talking about. And let me see if I just a few seconds of something I want to show you. This is something I did. I'm trying to see when I published it. This is from January 31st, 2023. Okay. I'm the most consistent person. Like everything that I'm saying in my videos now, it's not that I made it up now or that I want it to be sensational. I'm the most consistent person. Like I've said it for years, the same thing over and over again. And I guess, you know, it just annoys me sometimes when I see some of these comments. It shouldn't annoy me, but it does. Let me see if I can show you this little thing.
And really possibly approach to scrap projects that he. While I appreciated Zaslav's initial approach to scrap projects that he didn't think were benefiting the brand in any way, and bringing back Henry Cavill as Superman, and really possibly giving DC fans some good movies, I was somewhat disappointed when James Gunn and Peter Safran got rid of Henry Cavill. While I understand perhaps why The Rock didn't seem to fit with their plans, if nothing else, I think that after all the years of building some kind of universe to give Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and maybe Jason Momoa just one movie to sort of send them off, I think that would have been fair. And maybe after that, a whole new reboot could have been done to the DC universe. Instead, what happened here is that James Gunn wanted to somehow pick and choose.
Did it get stuck?
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think that my explanation was good.
Yeah.
And some elements of the previous regime will stay, and then some things that I think were actually the better things are going to go. In any case, James Gunn just announced his plans for the next 8 years at Warner Brothers, and while they don't necessarily sound terrible, I also don't know how realistic they are. And let's just go through this a little bit. He has a whole video where he's talking, but I'm just going to cut through the chase. And
So in any case, this was something that I was talking about in January 31st, 2023. So it's not like I woke up one morning today and started making up all this crap. I basically said at the time that I think he made the wrong decision. And then I even think in the same video, I think it's this one, that I explain that if he's all that James Gunn has to deliver the biggest success, because it doesn't really matter. I don't have to find it, but I was basically explaining that if James Gunn doesn't, after firing those people, if he doesn't deliver like the biggest Superman movie that's like universally loved and like a smash grand slam success, if he doesn't do that, then I thought that would be considered a failure. And I said it in those videos. Like, you can go back to 2023 January and see me talking about all of that. And at the end of the day, I really don't think that he made the grand slam dunk movie. Professor is gone. I don't know what happened to him.
I'm here. Unfortunately, I'm having a sneezing fit. So
okay. Well, Gesundheit. Badfoot says Price at 2 times speed is still slow. I think I'm faster now than I was then. I thought once I picked up the speed, I wasn't too slow. No. I guess Professor.
No, I thought it was fine.
In any case, all I'm saying is that I actually I've been saying the same thing. The reason why I showed it is that I don't like these people in my comments pretending that I'm somehow disingenuous, that like I came up with a new spin on something or a new idea or a new thought. I am very, very consistent. If you look at my Twitter, you look at my videos of me talking about stories like this and mentioning all of it, throughout the whole time I've been very consistent. I said, one, I think it was a mistake to bring Gunn in after they made it seem like Affleck and Cavill were still going to be doing something. I think that if nothing else at that point, just finish up a movie to wrap up the universe, do something nice. And even if you like people that are Snyder bros or whatever you want to call them, or you don't like them, I can understand the idea, because I'm not a Snyder bro, but I watched all those movies. I paid tickets to see all those DCU movies. I saw every single movie in the theater. I was the kind of person that felt that I put down money here. And for you to years follow some kind of universe, and for them at the end, they're like, nah, we'll just fire everybody. Who cares? It's like, listen, you build something, at least wrap it up. They didn't need a $700 million budget movie. They just could have done one movie that wraps up the storylines, make it seem like you give a little bit of a shit about your customers. I know some people may think I'm crazy that I'm saying that, but I think, and I don't even care if you kept Snyder around or not. Take that cast, make a movie that seemingly wraps up this universe, and send them off. And you know what? If I were them, I would have even offered Snyder an olive branch. Let him come in, give his guidance or whatever he wants, maybe work with another person, maybe even work with Gunn, which they've worked together before, wrap up the storyline, do a final chapter, wrap it up. Then you take a few years, you rebuild. I think that would have been fine, and I think that was a missed opportunity. And the only thing, if James Gunn came in there, swinging his dick, firing everybody, wants everything gone except for his wife, and doing all that shit, if he was going to do that, the only option that he had was to deliver the biggest grand slam. That's the only option. Either you deliver a movie that's so good that people just shut up and they're like, they don't understand how it's so good. And if you ask me, some people may like that movie, but the fact that it's not a consensus, and this isn't just a Gunn bro or a Snyder bro situation, I think a lot of normies just went to the theater and thought, you know what, this is kind of dumb. I've always had the opinion that actually the original 1978 Superman movie was actually really good, because I think that it managed to capture on one hand a little bit of levity, a little bit of light things that you may see in comics, a little bit of wholesomeness. He's a little bit naive, but at the same time, it's also serious when it needs to be. And Christopher Reeve was able to balance both worlds of being a little serious and a little lighthearted. And I think that was a good interpretation of the source material. Some people will say, there have been eras where it's been goofy and there have been eras that it's been serious. And I think that Christopher Reeve was a good balance. So whatever era you were, you had something that you could enjoy watching that movie. But then when you had the James Gunn one, I just feel like it became too goofy. And yes, I'm not a Snyder bro, but I will say this. If I had to choose between Gunn's goofy humor and between a movie that takes itself more seriously, if I'm forced to choose, I know this is going to sound crazy. If I'm forced to choose, I'm going the Snyder route. And I say this as somebody that had a lot of issues with certain things that he did. I've said here on several occasions, probably on every feed you can find me on, and videos, that thing, the way that he killed Jonathan Kent, is something that it can destroy your movie. And there were other things that were issues there. I can certainly sit and pick apart Man of Steel with a lot of comments, and still, I didn't feel like the character wasn't Superman. I felt like mistakes were made with the screenplay. I didn't feel like the character wasn't Superman. In James Gunn, it's not a Superman movie. People were saying, and I think that maybe you said it, I've said it already on a few different places, it felt like a Shazam movie. It felt like if you said that was Shazam 3 and James Gunn made it, and instead of Superman, they're calling him Shazam, I would have no problem with the movie. It's the fact that they took Superman and made him kind of a loser is what bothers me.
Well, remember in the original, the 78 version, when they had Clark, he was kind of the bumbling, silly, he was the comedy.
Right.
And then when he was Superman, there was other comedy happening around him. And situationally, he would do things that were funny. Right.
Right.
But for the most part, he wasn't dropping one-liners. He wasn't making, cracking jokes. Yeah, he'd show up, with, Zod at the White House. We take this outside, kind of thing. You know what? There's some funniness in there, but it's not him just cracking one-liners and whatever. It's comes from the situation, and then more of the humor came from the character of him when he was playing Clark Kent. And then the characters around him who are reacting to the way that he's acting, reacting to the things that he can do. It was not the sort of goofy Superman that we got. Now, I'm not saying I didn't hate this take on Superman, but it just went a little too far with the silly, right? As far as it just went a little too far with it being silly. And yeah. Oh, and there goes Bryce. Well, when it came to this Superman versus the previous Supermans, like Price was saying, like, unfortunately, yeah, this one was not as much a Superman movie, not in just that he didn't feel like he was Superman, but also that he was surrounded with all of these other superheroes. There were all of these moments when the story wasn't about Superman. The story was about Mr. Terrific. The story was about Lois.
I didn't mind Terrific.
Story was about, well, no, I didn't mind him. I'm simply saying that it wasn't a Superman movie.
No, it wasn't.
It had a, there was a whole bunch of characters in there. It wasn't quite as much of that type of film like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It wasn't, it didn't go that far, but it got close. Where you've got a bunch of different characters all together and kind of doing different stuff and, being different and, having their own little quirks, their own little things and spending time. And so, yeah, it just didn't, it wasn't, I wanted a Superman. I wanted a Superman centric Superman movie. I didn't want a whole bunch of other heroes there helping save the day. I wanted to see who Superman was, what he could do, so on. I don't know. Again, I didn't hate this movie. I really didn't. I dislike Fantastic Four more than I like this. So, more than I disliked Superman. But
I'll give you that out of the two movies, I gave Fantastic Four a 55, which is a failing grade, and Superman a 60 out of 100. And I've said it again. It's a situation where the movie itself, when I look at it as a random superhero movie, there's something to enjoy there. If it was a Shazam 3 movie, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I don't care. It's fine. But when you say that you're doing a Superman movie, you have a certain amount of responsibility and you have to respect what that character is. And James Gunn didn't do that, in my opinion. It never felt to me like I was truly watching a Superman movie, in my opinion. I don't care. People are like, didn't you like the silver era of the comics? I don't give a shit. I didn't feel that he was Superman. Even in the silver era of comics, it's not that he was like just a dum-dum that everybody takes a dump on every second. And, I know there were times that there was a code and there were things in comics that they did it one way, then they had to do it more like wholesome. And there were people trying to make it so kids don't read comics because it was bad. And there's all this stuff that happened in history, which is why they became a little more lighthearted. And there were a lot of different eras for sure. And it's always complicated when you're adapting. But the way I see it, James Gunn used the Silver Era as an excuse to make a kind of loser Superman that's not the masculine hero. And that's what I think watching it, I knew it, because James Gunn isn't a complete idiot. He's actually smart. And that's what I was trying to explain to you, that we talk a lot about woke, and like we always laugh at these kind of 2-bit activists that are writing some kind of screenplay or making some movie for the MCU. We all clearly see what they did and why it sucks, and we all have a good laugh. James Gunn is smart. James Gunn knew how to pick the things that will work with his agenda, and he pushed the exact agenda that everybody's pushing. He just did it sort of in a more under the radar type of way. And that's what I think annoyed me very much about his movie. I think it's by design that Superman is a kind of a jerk off in his movie. Sorry, Sean. Did I lose the professor? Oh, maybe he's still sneezing. It's okay. I will continue to talk.
Sorry, I was accidentally muted. I didn't
Oh,
mean
it's
to be
okay.
I think the sneezing is done.
Well,
We'll see.
the final thing that I found that I'm going to try to share was just the final minute of me babbling in that video, because I think it's an interesting documentation from January 2023, and I think I even made other but this was interesting for me. Let me see if I can.
Are really going to happen. That's why I feel like what they needed to do was to give a proper send-off to the characters that people were already invested in. Yes, a lot of mistakes were made by Warner Brothers unless it's immediately a hit. And that's why I'm not sure that all these...
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't... Oh, it did share it.
Yeah, it's shared.
Could anybody hear something before, or nobody heard anything?
Yeah.
Oh, are you still sneezing?
Nope.
You sound weird, Professor.
I'm stopped up now.
I think that one of the biggest problems here isn't this whole slate and isn't all these ideas. Some of these projects, they seem legitimate. Some of these projects seem kind of dumb. The only real challenge, in my opinion, here actually has nothing to do with James Gunn. I've seen that David Zaslav is a very no-nonsense guy who doesn't have patience for anybody. He wants money to be made immediately. To say that he's letting James Gunn and Peter Safran build something for 8 years and at the same time to be so...
Oh, shit. Why does it keep getting stuck, Professor?
I don't know. Maybe you're having some bandwidth issues. We can.
I think I am. I think weird stuff
turn
is
off
happening.
our.
Such an impatient guy that just wants to see money because the company is in $50 billion in debt. I don't see how he's going to just wait for all these years and let them build something unless it's immediately a hit. And that's why I'm not sure that all these 8 years are really going to happen. That's why I feel like what they needed to do was to give a proper send-off to the characters that people were already invested in. Yes, a lot of mistakes were made by Warner Brothers prior to David Zaslav's arrival, prior to James Gunn's arrival. Even though all those poor decisions were made, there was already an audience of a lot of people watching them. And I think that over time, perhaps Zack Snyder wasn't exactly a consensus when it came to his movies. At least one thing I think everybody agreed upon. There was nothing wrong with the casting of these characters, and everybody just wanted to see sort of an ending to this story. Even if it was just one movie, just do something to make it seem like people weren't invested in watching all of this stuff for all these years. To just...
I don't know, I guess. Oh, maybe it's that stupid recording thing that it's doing. Maybe
drop
that's
the
the
entire
reason.
DC Trinity like that with Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck. It doesn't make any sense, and I still think that's a poor decision. And I think that if David Zaslav needed some immediate cash, that was the movie he would have made that I believe would have made money, especially if it would have been made by competent people. He just needed to combine between two elements: a cast which was already good and you already had it, and somebody that knows how to make a movie that isn't an idiot. And somehow, I guess in Hollywood these days, that seems to be a pretty big problem in a tall order, I guess. As for James Gunn, either he succeeds and he proves everybody wrong that he could do this and quickly put this thing together, or in my opinion, there's going to be a few flops. David Zaslav is going to get annoyed, and in addition, we also don't know what'll happen if this company continues to lose money. I mean, if they're over $50 billion in debt, how long can they sit around and do all of this? I guess we'll just have to see what happens. What are your thoughts about James?
I think that when I look at myself now, Professor, admit it, it's kind of an impressive analysis for January 2023, no?
Yeah, for a while back, talking about and by the way, I completely agree with you on this. This is something I kind of thought myself back then, that when they sort of said, "Oh, we're ending the Snyderverse." Not that I'm a friend, a friend or fan of the Snyderverse. I am not. There's like 2 films I think in that whole Snyderverse that I've watched more than once. I think I saw Wonder Woman a couple of times, and I saw Shazam a couple of times, like with my family. That's it. The rest of I couldn't care less. And I watched a lot of them. I watched Flash, for God's sake. And that movie was an absolute disaster.
That was a disaster.
The thing is, I think that, they shouldn't have just said, well, we're ditching it. Like, forget it. It's done. See ya. They should have done something to wrap it up, right? They should have done something to put, a bookend on the Snyderverse. They should have made one last film, or changed one of the films, or something, done something to say, all right, hey, this is how it all wraps up. Or even, they've done crazy stuff in the comic books before. There something happens and universes get swapped and things are changed, and now you're in this other place. And they could have done something there, sort of one last film to kind of just bookend and wrap up what was the Snyderverse. Give some of those actors their opportunities, play those characters again. And then, even if it ends on a cliffhanger, like we don't know what comes next, or, there's a new universe, or there's something else that's happening. I don't know. It just seemed really sort of cheap, to just say, well, that universe is done. Screw it. Time to move on.
And the thing is that a lot of times what happens is you wanna create like a new world, and you do casting, and so many times you have the wrong casting. You have actors that people aren't excited about, that are not the kind that audiences actually are interested in seeing. I think that with Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot, I think that they had a pretty good trinity. If nothing else, make a movie, just wrap that up. Invite all 3 of them, make a big thing out of it. I think that people by that moment of time would have actually been on board with the hype for that. It also effectively what James Gunn did, he turned all those other movies that were around, those Aquaman 2 and whatever, into lame ducks. I'm not saying that those movies were any good, but keep in mind that Ben Affleck actually, David Zaslav paid money and asked Ben Affleck to come back, and he was actually supposed to do stuff in Aquaman 2, but then because James Gunn arrived, they deleted it. James Gunn is a slippery guy because he's like, no, listen, it's all because of the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that he made Henry Cavill come back. Yeah, I don't know about that. If I understand correctly, Zaslav asked Ben Affleck back, and they actually did more filming for Aquaman 2, where Ben Affleck was supposed to be in it. Well, you'll see that there was like photos of him arriving on set and being really happy, hanging out with Jason Momoa, and they're doing filming and things like that. They deleted all of that out of the movie. There was also another situation that I think at the end of the movie, The Flash, which was not a good movie, but at the end of that movie, I believe they also brought back, maybe they had more with Affleck, maybe even Cavill, maybe with Gal Gadot. They had something going on there, and they deleted that too. So James Gunn is telling this kind of sob story, how he never wanted all of this, and then he arrived and they happened to hire Henry the day that he came, and he never approved it. And this is a very nice fairy tale that he's telling, but if you look at the amount of reshoots and things that were going on with this original cast behind the scenes, that wasn't the case. The case is that Gunn showed up and said, I don't want any of these people. I want to start something on my own. And in my opinion, that was a mistake. I think that there should have been a final goodbye to those characters. And like I said, I don't think anybody had issues with that cast. I've met people that have said, you know what, I didn't like the creative direction of Zack Snyder. Maybe his movies were too serious. Maybe they were too long. Maybe he was a bit overindulgent with his camera angles and slow motion or whatever it is. There was certainly no shortage of criticism, but I don't think that I've heard many people say Zack Snyder was really a bum when it came to casting. I think that when it came to visual atmosphere, I would say that he had a pretty cool visual style that I didn't mind. And I think that when it came to casting the characters, I didn't mind it. I would even go as far as to say that if he had screenplays that were different than the ones that he used for those movies, maybe his movies could have been better. Because he did Watchmen. I like Watchmen. I didn't dislike it. I haven't watched it in years, but it's not that everything Zack Snyder has touched was bad. I think that Zack Snyder, the problem with him is that somebody at some point gave him the impression that he's this big writer and auteur, and I think that he got a little bit high on his own supply, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I hated the Batfleck, but there were a lot of other castings that he did that were fine.
You know, I'll tell you this: when he announced the
honestly, the earliest casting for the Flash with Ezra Miller at the beginning, as far as like his performance, what he did with that character being sort of neurotic and strange in Justice League, I honestly didn't hate it. Of course, yeah. Now after we got more of Ezra Miller, that changed, but I never liked the Batfleck.
You know, I'll give you this. Initially, when they announced Ben Affleck, I wasn't a fan of it, and I was kind of grumpy about it. Even walking into Batman versus Superman and all of that, I expected much worse. I also remember Daredevil. So for me, when I think about like past Batmans, Ben Affleck is not going to be my number one Batman. I obviously I put Michael Keaton above him. I put Christian Bale above him. Heck, you know what? I liked Val Kilmer better than him. He's not my favorite Batman. But what I'll say is that after watching Batman versus Superman and some of those movies, I kind of accepted that he's Batman. I didn't think that he was the worst Batman. I mean, yes, I just gave a number of people that I thought he was better. I liked him better than George Clooney. I liked him better than George Clooney as Batman.
As long as you don't say you liked him better than Adam West.
No,
I don't find you somewhere and kick your ass. Yeah.
No, Adam West is like the OG. Adam West, though, it's a very kind of different style. It's very campy.
It's a totally different take on Batman, but
it's hard not to like it. Don't get me wrong.
He's wonderful.
Adam West was in a time where these comic things, people didn't know if they would even work or not. And one can't dismiss or underestimate the great work that Adam West did. So I'm totally cool with that. I actually met Adam West once at a convention, and I believe that at the convention they also had like the Batmobile, which was also cool. So I got to briefly meet Adam West, and then like there was like the original Batmobile, kind of cool. So that was like at a convention, something in New York, in the New York area, which is cool.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, a lot of respect for Adam West, more respect. Ben Affleck is at the bottom, almost at the bottom. He's above Clooney, and that's pretty much about it. But I didn't necessarily hate him. I didn't go out and say I hate Ben Affleck as Batman. I somehow accepted it. I think that Henry Cavill was good casting. I liked him as Superman. I think that there was a good movie somewhere to give Henry Cavill to be Superman, and we never got that movie. Unfortunately, like I think that there was a lot more you could have done with him, and he was totally on board, and he was excited, and I like what he brought to the table. I think Gal Gadot, I know people laugh, maybe she's not the best actress in the world. I liked her as Wonder Woman, didn't have any issue. Maybe some people have their own issues. I, for some reason, found her likable, and maybe she's not good for every role in the world. If you're doing like some kind of Shakespeare now, like you're doing like Macbeth or something, maybe I wouldn't call her for the cast. But as Wonder Woman, I kind of liked her.
And that now I want to see her playing Lady Macbeth.
That would be funny. That would be funny if she did. That's why I kind of felt bad for her when she took that stupid Rachel Zegler movie. It was not in her wheelhouse to do that. There are certain movies that are in her wheelhouse. You need a lady that looks nice. Maybe there's a bit of action because she's decent at that. She could do a little bit of athletic stuff and some action. And you need a woman to look nice. I think that those are roles that are fine for her. They demanded stuff in this movie which wasn't good. The Snow White wasn't good anyways. But to bring her as the evil queen, which she doesn't seem evil or like the evil queen at all, and to have her singing and doing like all these like weird, it was so off target. I said in my review that Snow White one, they needed somebody like a Cate Blanchett, like Olivia Colman or something. They needed a different type of actress to convince that she's a evil queen and that she can sort of sing and bring that gravitas. Gal Gadot was not the right casting for that. It wouldn't have mattered because the movie was a disaster anyways.
It was.
It just
so
added
bad.
another hilarious angle to it, I guess.
So bad.
She didn't look bad. I mean, she still looked nice, even though they made her like with the whole queen thing, whatever. I mean, she still looked kind of. She had like a. See, people were saying like Rachel Brosnan in James Gunn's movie was punk rock. I think that Gal Gadot in that Snow White looked punk rock. Like her outfit was kind of cool.
Snow
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's the
Yes,
outfit.
Kal-El, no, it's not the best thing. I think that she has. I'll tell you what. I also have to cut her a little bit of slack, and it's something that happens to a lot of actors. I've said this before about Diego Luna. Diego Luna, anytime I see him in anything that he has to speak English, he seems like the worst actor. Like he's really, really terrible. And then like I saw him in Narcos or something where he spoke his language. He spoke Spanish, and he is 10 times better acting in Narcos than anything else I've seen him in. Because anything else, he's always speaking in English, and I think that he doesn't feel comfortable with that language. There's a difference between being able to speak a different language and really kind of getting into a character and delivering a performance in that language. Now, I'd say that, like, again, Gal Gadot, I think that she chose roles that maybe didn't demand too much and she could somehow get away with it. That thing in Snow White required an actress. It required an actress that if you're not, like, commanding the English language, even if she spoke fluently, I don't know, like, if it would be better. But those kind of Kal-El knows, it's like, if you're not speaking, if it's hard for you to say those words, it's a little difficult. I don't know if you can understand what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying is, if now I was in a movie and I had to speak like Spanish or some other, or French, languages that I mildly speak like on a toddler level, okay? But if I had to do it, I think it would be like a disaster. I would be Kal-El No throughout the whole movie, and everybody in Mexico would be sitting and laughing. I'd be like the meme that they're all laughing at. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just adding that it's always difficult when it's not your first language to have to deliver a performance. You have some people that could do it, like Ricardo Montalban. He not only could do it, the fact that it wasn't his first language was actually an advantage because he sounded so interesting the way he spoke. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But for every Ricardo Montalban, you have like a Gal Gadot, or even I dare say like an Ana de Armas or something like that. Like she did maybe more work on her English than maybe Gal Gadot did. But honestly, even if you watch Ballerina, I do feel like sometimes when they give her too much to say and talk in a movie, you could tell that it's not her first language and that there's bits of it that she's struggling a bit. And I'll give you my final thoughts on it. It's like when you live in the US and you speak it your whole life and you know the ins and outs and you know the slang, when you're talking, when you're given a role, you know how to, you feel it. It's coming out of you in a very organic and natural way. When it's not your first language and you're trying to get into the mind of somebody that speaks it, but you're not 100% there, it just doesn't always come out the same way. Just my 2 cents. Professor, I think he's sneezing again, or he went to sleep. He was thinking about Kal-El No, and that was it. That was all that she wrote. He's out. I hope he's okay. Let's see for a second. I think that he went to find a tissue. I hope that's what he's doing. In any case, let me look at the comments in the chat. He would sell you rich Corinthian leather. That we're talking about Ricardo Montalban, the most interesting man in the world. That's for the Dos Equis guy. Yes. Well, I think she delivered a performance better than Rachel. Both of those characters were rather miscast. I mean, Rachel Zegler. It's not that she completely can't act or sing, or she can sing for sure. And she doing that kind of Snow White thing is in her wheelhouse. The only thing that I'll say is that Snow White needed to be a character beyond the fact that, like, obviously the skin is white as snow or whatever doesn't really apply to Zegler. However somebody feels about, like, you know, this kind of race swapping or whatever you want to call it, in the case of Snow White, there was really nothing to swap because it's so specific how she's supposed to look and what her skin is supposed to look like, that if you don't follow that, it just looks strange. You know, one could argue about some of the other ones, but I don't think that Snow White, there's much of an argument. But forget about the appearance. It's the fact that Snow White, if you look at the original animation, at the original, you know, Disney movie from 1923, is it 23, 33, whatever it is, can't remember now. In any case, if you look at the original one, it the way the character appears is very likable. She's so kind of gentle and likable, and there's something about her that is just such a warm presence, and this kind of very feminine and motherly vibe and things like that. Rachel Zegler gave me none of those vibes. It's not that she couldn't sing it. It's not that she couldn't recite her lines. It's just that she seemed like Snow White can't appear to me to be kind of bitchy, and that's what she appeared. Part of it is just the way the screenplay was written, if you want to call it a screenplay. Part of it is because Rachel Zegler herself has this kind of natural bitchy vibe, in my opinion, of course. Didn't help. Gal Gadot had the opposite problem. I think that Gal Gadot, if she was young and actually maybe spoke English and more fluently, a young Gal Gadot that speaks English fluently and can really get into a role like this, could have been a more reasonable Snow White. I don't know about the singing parts, but at least the vibe of being kind of warm and welcoming and positive. I think that a young Gal Gadot speaking fluent English could have given that vibe. As the evil queen, it was not a good fit. The only part that I thought that Gal Gadot did well, really, when it comes to the acting in Snow White, is there's the part that the queen's wife dies and the king's wife, the queen, dies, and then Gal Gadot shows up. Initially, she's not wearing all those like special outfits. She just looks like she does like today in an interview, and she looks really nice. And the king is like really excited. That was the most believable part of the whole movie forget about like her acting. That was the only part that came off as reasonable and believable. That like the king is like grumpy and suddenly sees her walk into the ballroom and he's all happy. That was the only thing that I said I can believe this. I believe it. So that's what I have to say.
Did you speaking of Rachel Zegler? Did you see her in the news today?
Wasn't there something that she felt sick in the middle of her performance and left and came back?
She left, and her understudy had to take over in the middle of the show, and blew the audience out of the water. Standing ovation.
This feels like a movie, like one of those movies.
18-year-old understudy came in and crushed it.
I saw the video and I thought she seemed fantastic. I really think that she's already more likable than Rachel Zegler. Like I'm like, oh, I like her.
Immediately more like. Man, you got to give it to understudies. I've actually known someone who was an understudy in a big production, and I've seen actually the first time I saw Les Miserables, one of the performers was an understudy, and she absolutely crushed it. I mean, she was amazing. And so these people who are understudies, they don't count them out. These are just another generation of, the next generation of just incredible talent. And yeah, this lady apparently just blew the audience away. And Zegler is reportedly quite jealous. So
Zegler will give her understudy a poison apple. I feel like Elizabeth Quince was saying something interesting, and I for some reason, because we jumped all these platforms, I feel like some of the comments aren't showing up on our feed. So I apologize to the Rumble people, but I saw that she said something interesting. Let me try to find it. She said, I was in a course for Republican women in leadership. This is Elizabeth Quince. We actually in real life out loud talked about how we are expected to be beautiful. I don't know what the context was, Elizabeth.
I think we were just, when we were talking about the difference between, they were laughing when I showed that video about the Republican. If Republicans get ads with pretty women in it, we should have ads too with ugly women. And but no, you're absolutely right. There's I've actually heard this as well, that there's a number of different things with conservatives, Republicans, whatever, where they advise women. They're like, look, you want to stand out, you want to appeal to the people on our side. You're not going to get to go up on Capitol Hill wearing dumpy clothes and not looking attractive. You're going to have to put effort in and make sure that you're looking professional, but also at the same time making sure that you're looking very nice. That's just kind of expected for people on that side of the aisle. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it might actually help the Democrats too, but they can't bring themselves to do that.
No,
to
I
make
guess
sure
they
that they
can't.
look attractive when they show up. Only when they can use Instagram filters.
Batfoot said Snow White had good genes. It's kind of funny. I bet she's going through her old tweets as we speak. Tomahawk says, I could never see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Should have been Adrian Pilecki. I liked her. She didn't bother me, but that's just my opinion. I thought that she was fine in those Fast and Furious movies because they don't really require heavy duty acting there. I think that in Fast and Furious, if you look decent and you can look cool doing some action, you're hired. And that certainly was fine for her. There's no problem. I even think, isn't there a movie that she's like with Gina Carano? I don't know why I vaguely remember Gina Carano and Gal Gadot being in Fast and Furious together. I could be wrong on this. Professor, am I imagining this?
Let's see.
Maybe I'm confusing. I thought Gina Carano was in Fast and Furious in some movie, and I thought that Gal Gadot was in that one too. But then maybe she was with Michelle Rodriguez. I don't know.
I mean, it would have been Michelle Rodriguez is definitely in there.
I don't know. I thought that she had some interaction with Gina Carano. In any case, like for those Fast and Furious movies, they need you to look decent, be able to do action. Some they go for. Sorry, go on.
Price.
Yes.
They appear together in the film Fast and Furious 6.
I knew it.
There you go.
That's cool. You know what? Those movies, especially during that era, they knew how to deliver the goods in terms of just fun, cool people in their cast, cool action, ladies that if you already need ladies to do action, those are good ladies to be there. Between ladies that actually are physically fit, also, ladies that look pleasant. I think that they got a lot of things right early on there. I don't know what they do now. I don't even know whatever happened to that franchise. It kind of went off a cliff. But
it's all about family.
They did the mistake that I think a lot of these other things did, that it seemed like I don't even understand. The last movie ended like on a cliffhanger, and then for years they didn't make another one, and now they're saying they're going to make one more.
It just seems like they all had to outdo the last one. They all had to be bigger and crazier until they're like riding cars in space.
The funny thing is that I think that I tweeted something about them like having to go to space or something stupid like that, and then a year later it turns out they were going to space, and I'm like, man, like when you become the meme, that is already like the jumping the shark moment. They jumped the shark much sooner. The fact that any person that died just appeared, and nobody even like thinks it's strange that person appeared. They're just like, weren't you dead? And the person is like, I sure was. And that's it. That's probably the way they explain that the person returns. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, so I was flipping through here trying to find a video of the understudy.
Yeah, the understudy seemed good. I saw the video. One thing that she has over Zegler is that she had this kind of natural likability. Zegler knows how to sing, but you still have to feel her vibe, and her vibe to me always seems kind of, I know this is a terrible thing to say, she always seems bitchy. She doesn't have like a warm and welcoming vibe. As an actor, you need to have that.
No, it's very off-putting.
Marla Shernoff said, what happened with the other stream? There was a technical difficulty, and we ended up quickly launching a different stream, and that's how we ended up here.
If you want 5 minutes of comedy, you can jump over to the other stream later.
Man, the only reason
I struggle to stay on the stream together. We'd get interrupted every 5 words by being kicked out by Rumble Studio or something.
The only reason I'm still keeping those other streams up is just people are looking for the stream and they happen to run into the wrong one. Maybe they can find where the new one is. Marla Shernoff says she doesn't have a Snow White personality. No, and I said that before as well. Snow White needs to be this kind of such a pleasant, likable woman that generates femininity and kindness and things like that. None of those things. Rachel Zegler is just awful casting all across the board. Yeah, when I saw the movie, she could sing. Here's another thing, though. A lot of times when you hear somebody sing, you also feel like their energy and their character. And while Rachel Zegler certainly has pipes, she can hit the notes, you're still feeling her energy, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like a lot of times you have singers that maybe don't even have great voices or something like that, but there's something about them that sort of you find intriguing, or there's a certain character that you connect with. We used to see this more back in the day. These days, like, all the singers are rather just generic and vanilla and crappy. They sound like they came off a conveyor belt. But back in the day, you had like a certain amount of character. You had something. And for me, Rachel Zegler doesn't really have that cool character. Just like I think she's kind of annoying in her personality. Somehow that annoyance through the sound waves, I feel it too. But I guess I could somehow overlook it. If she was just singing and never spoke another word, maybe you could somehow, if you didn't have to see her and you didn't have to hear her speak or behave in public or anything like that, and you just heard her sing, maybe you could let it slide. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yep. No, I've had enough of old Rachel Zegler. She can disappear elsewhere. She can go hide away in theater in a different country. Go do street performances in Paris, whatever she wants. I don't care. But I don't want to see her in my movies anymore. That's for damn sure.
For sure. Do you think that that somebody somebody in Hollywood, if they're going to hire for like a big movie, would have to kind of be an idiot?
Yeah,
I mean,
I have no
I don't
idea
know
what
what's
kind
going
of
to happen.
moron it
But
would take to hire Rachel Zegler for their film, but I got a feeling it would be well, there's still people in Hollywood who would do that.
yeah. So
Mm.
I have no idea what to tell you. But yeah, somebody stupid. Maybe they'll do something where she does voices. Maybe if it's like a musical animation thing, they'll find things for her to do. Maybe stuff that's more like for streaming. I don't know that a big studio like Disney is going to be like, okay, we're putting hundreds of millions of dollars now on Zegler. I absolutely don't see that happening. Disney, with all of their bullshit, I don't think anybody's sitting in any boardroom there saying we got to bring back Zegler. And if any of those other studios have any kind of like brains, even if they're like activists and weird and woke, whatever you want to call it, this is a matter. She crossed the line in a way that that even they would refuse to accept. I mean, remember what happened to Ray Fisher? Remember Ray Fisher, Professor?
No, I don't. Ray
you don't
Fisher?
remember him?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember Ray Fisher?
No.
No, come on, you're just teasing. You know.
No, I'm not sure. Ray Fisher?
Ray Fisher was the cyborg in those crappy.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. No, he was Cyborg. Yeah.
Okay, so basically,
I did not like him at all. I thought his casting was terrible.
I didn't like his casting. Yeah, I mean, out of the things that Snyder, just so you know, I accepted the Trinity, even though Ben Affleck not my favorite Batman, but I sort of accepted him, even though I was grumpy initially. What'd you say?
Fair enough. Yeah.
He's not my favorite Batman, not gonna lie to you, but I over a while after I saw Marty for a bit, I kind of just got used to him. So that's why I was saying that if they made a movie and they said we're doing like, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman with that cast, and even Momoa as Aquaman, they wanted to do some final movie, I would have been okay with it. Especially if it's just one movie and you're sending them all off. I accept that universe, wanted to see a good movie, and I would have been cool with it. Cyborg, I didn't think he was too great in the role. I don't know if he was terrible, but it was kind of a take him or leave him situation for me. I didn't walk in thinking I hate Cyborg, and I didn't come in thinking I love Cyborg. I just thought whatever, it was fine. But the thing with the actor is that he decided, because there was this whole summer of Floyd. Remember the Floyd Festival?
Yes, the summer of love and flames.
Yes, the Summer of Love, also known as the Floyd Festival. He basically saw that happening, and he decided that it was time to kind of take a stand. And he started talking about how the executives at Warner Brothers are terrible people and what they said to him and all this other stuff. Now, from what I could tell behind the scenes, what they had tried to do is he had some complaints. Somebody implied that there were issues, and they came to him and they said, "Listen, we'll make a deal with you. You'll get your own Cyborg movie. Just shut up. You'll get your own Cyborg movie, and let's all move on." And you know what he said? Nope. I want everybody to go out publicly and apologize. I wanted them to take accountability over entertainment. As somebody that as myself, I can say, has worked in this industry before, that is a stupid fucking take. Sorry, Sean. That is stupid and dumb. And I think that I'm not saying that it's nice. If somebody treated him poorly, it's not something that he shouldn't speak out about. But that's the kind of thing you do behind the scenes. It's not the kind. What he did was so stupid, because then what happened is that I think that Warner Brothers came out and said, we're looking into it. We're going to work with him. We're going to do this. They offered him his own movie. They tried their best to put out this fire. And then what does he do? He comes out and he says, the CEO, I don't know what, maybe it was Walter Hamada or whatever, or some CEO, whoever he was complaining about, he's like, no, I was on a call with him and he said this and he said that, and he's started airing all this dirty laundry. I mean, at the end of the day, keep in mind, with all of his bullshit, with all this nonsense that he's whining about, even if they treated him poorly, this was a movie that he already got like $1 million or something to be in. This quote-unquote terrible experience he had was that somebody gave him $1 million and then said some things to him that hurt his feelings. Are you with me, Professor?
Yep.
If you put that into perspective and you understand how that industry is and how the game works, maybe you think to yourself, I can, whatever issues I have, I can talk about them behind closed doors and iron them out that way. And then what happened is that initially when he said all that stuff, all these other people in Hollywood said it's so great. The media jumped on it. You had John Boyega saying, "Oh, bro, you my peeps, bro," and all this stuff. And they're all, "I got you, fam. I got your back, fam." And then you know what happened? Nothing. You never saw Ray Fisher again. Nobody talks about Ray Fisher. I don't even know if anybody would have talked about him regardless, but let's just say that maybe he could have gotten more roles. I promise you that there are studios that if you say Ray Fisher, they're just going to say, we do not want that guy here. And the reason is because people don't like it that you go out and like there's a phone conversation between you and executives, and then you go out to the press and start like airing your dirty laundry. That's never going to fly. And I'm going to tell you something else, Professor. If you and I had a production, even if it's like we have like $5, okay, our whole budget is that we have like 3 Big Macs and some chicken nuggets. That's like our entire budget. And you say, hey, do you want to hire Ray Fisher? My answer is no. Are you with me?
No, thanks.
No, thanks. I don't want him here. I don't want anything to do with him. And it's like, oh, is it because he's diverse? No, it has nothing to do with it. I just don't want, this seems like a headache that we just don't want. It's the same thing as Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler is arguably worse. I will give Ray Fisher that she is worse than Ray Fisher. I also suspect that maybe somebody wasn't nice to Ray Fisher. Maybe it's true, but at the same time, I think that he mishandled everything. And again, just nobody cares, but I think I was very consistent. Even at the time, I feel like when he was saying all that shit, I think I maybe tweeted to him. I said, dude, like, shut the fuck up. Maybe in a nice way, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, it's career, what do they call it? Career unaliving. I mean, he had some little short film, and then he got the role of Cyborg, and then Snyder kept him on. He had a role in the Rebel Moon films.
Barely. He was there for like 5 minutes.
Small character in the Rebel Moon films. And then since then, he's had 2 pictures. One was some tiny little film festival thing. And then another one is still filming. Who knows what it's going to be. Couple of appearances on television, and then he's done theater. He someone had him play Macbeth. Maybe he should have been him play Macbeth, and maybe Rachel Zegler could be Lady Macbeth. That'd be great. Get the 2 of them together. That'd be that would sell tickets.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to find this thing. It really bothers me that I can't find it. Hold on. Are you ready? Are you ready now, Professor?
All right. Bring it.
I'm the weirdest guy. There's nobody that celebrates being right like 5 years ago than me. And Professor has to put up with this, and I apologize for that, Professor. Let me see if I can share this. This is something that I tweeted in March 3rd, 2021. And I wrote, opinion. I believe Ray Fisher, but if I was his manager, I would have advised him to handle the Warner Brothers DC complaint differently than he did. Rather than accountability over entertainment, I think his strategy should have been accountability plus entertainment. Take them to task and leverage his position to get more roles and money.
Well, you don't air that dirty laundry in public either.
Right.
You
And I
deal
will
with
say
that
it.
stuff behind the scenes. You deal with that stuff directly with the executives and whatever, because once you are out there hurting their PR, hurting their company with your social media, that will not be forgotten.
No, nobody will forget it. And this is all in 2021. Like what I showed you today with Gunn and with this other thing, keep in mind that all these things are interpretations that I made on the spot. Like something happens, 5 seconds later, it's my analysis. So this guy says, has he ever made a specific allegation? I wrote, yes. He says that behind closed doors, top execs said racist things. While that may be true, I'm not sure that he has the evidence he needs to prove it. As a result, he is hurting his own career while engaging in a very tough battle. And then somebody said that's still not specific, though. Nowadays, everything gets construed as that. I've never reserved judgment until we know what actually was said. Sounds like he was a bit of a drama queen. And I said there's plenty of discrimination in Hollywood, and other cast members have supported the idea that he wasn't treated well. With that being said, I think there was a different way to approach this. It's tough going up publicly against a big system without looking like a drama queen. And then somebody says, what's he got to lose? Same with Boyega. And when Kaepernick got benched, all the more publicity out of the Roos card. Look at how badly Hollywood wanted to believe Smollier and how sure he was it would boost his career. All these guys got gigs countless actors would kill for. And then I wrote, I don't see Boyega, Kaepernick, and Fisher as the same situation. Boyega was put in a bad position, but I think he handled it well. I mean, at the time he did. Fisher was put in a similar bad position, but I think he didn't handle it well. Cap created a bad situation for himself, but still cashed in on it. And then the final thing I said here, Hollywood can be a cruel place, and if he feels he was disrespected, it's not impossible. With that being said, if he was being paid a ton of money for a dream job, perhaps there was a different way to resolve it. Basically, and the final thing I'll just put, I think he should have better advisors. I believe him on the one hand, but this would have been benefited if he dealt with it behind closed doors. By airing the dirty laundry publicly, he ultimately lost this battle and his job. Are you with me?
Sure enough, yeah.
So
I would say there's one thing all three of those actors have in common. They're all middling and had to use race in order to try and boost their profile and ensure they continue to get work.
And then I don't know when here, I guess this was around the same time. I also wrote today, Ray Fisher, aka Cyborg, has learned Hollywood lesson number one. The house always wins. Because it said this was something Geeks and Gamers posted. Ray Fisher, a cyborg, has been written out of the upcoming The Flash movie and will not be recast. And this is exactly playing your cards wrong. It's like, yeah, you may feel good about blabbing all that stuff, but nobody. This has nothing to do with your skin color or anything. If you're seen as a guy that likes to air dirty laundry over disagreements behind the scenes, this is not just even a Hollywood situation. If tomorrow, forget about a movie, if we have a hot dog stand tomorrow and we have to hire somebody, I would think twice before hiring him.
Yeah, just going to cause trouble for you.
The first sign of something that he doesn't like, he's going out to social media to talk about what he didn't like. He doesn't, he thinks that we didn't heat up our hot dogs fast enough, or I don't know, the sauerkraut wasn't good. You better believe that tomorrow online, he's going to be posting like videos and tweets explaining why this was the worst sauerkraut he's ever seen. It's too much drama. It's unnecessary drama. There are cases that you've heard in Hollywood that somebody's like, oh, they painted me as a troublemaker even though I wasn't one. And sometimes that's true. Some actors have gone through that somebody painted them as a troublemaker and maybe it wasn't deserved. But in the case of Ray Fisher, he earned it. Not to mention,
he did.
Not to mention, here's the thing. If you now went and you brought your laundry somewhere and they ruined your shirt, you have two options. You can go out and you can say, hey, I'm going to social media. They ruined my shirt. I hate them. They ruined my shirt. But what if these guys came up to you and said, you know what? We're going to buy you now 10 shirts that are better than this one and more expensive. What do you think about that? Is that fair? We didn't mean to do. This was a misunderstanding. Here's 10 shirts that are fancier and better. Or better yet, here's a check. Here's a check for a lot of money. We're just everything's going to be fine. a reasonable person says, you know what? Who cares about that original shirt? I'll take all this money. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And you don't go out and try and destroy someone's reputation before you take the opportunity to sit down and talk, work things out behind the scenes. And you know what? That's what your freaking agent is supposed to do for you.
I have a feeling that his agents, he probably didn't listen to them. My opinion is
Yeah.
that if he had an agent and a manager, he didn't listen to one word they were saying. He was a complete idiot. And when I said that, by the way, when I wrote that stuff, it wasn't as somebody. I of course, I'm not like in no capacity, not on a business level and not on talent or any level. I'm not some like A-lister or anything. Like nobody. I'm the opposite of what an A-lister like, or you know what I'm trying to say. I'm like the bottom of the barrel. Nobody cares about me. But even I understand how that system works. Do you get what I mean? The what he did, I saw it and I said to myself, this is very, very poor behavior. He's an idiot. I regretted not being his manager. I would have called him and told him, listen, you are an idiot. You are a fucking idiot. Stop doing this. You suck. You're stupid.
I think Jeanette in the YouTube chat has it right. He was a budding actor who thought he could slap grievances like he'd been in the business for 20 years. Never ends well.
There's people that have been in the business for 20 years that would have gone on a tirade like that guy and not seen any more work. I mean, first of all, I'm going to add a disclaimer here. I actually don't like the things that I'm about. This woman that I'm about to mention, I don't like anything she said. I think that she's super annoying, but Susan Sarandon had some things to say in the past few years, and I think that most Hollywood studios projects she had in the can, they won't do anything. They'll be released, or one was still released. I think aside from that, most of these agencies don't want to hear from her.
Yeah. Yeah. They would rather find someone who's less controversial and less likely to cause trouble on their set.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't know what her intentions were exactly and what she's thinking to herself, but the kind of things that she went and the protests she kind of joined and the things that she was saying, I think that if you go out and you do that, it could affect your bottom line, you know? Also, I mean, to be fair, sometimes when there's there's an actress that's maybe in her 20s and in high demand and everybody's chasing her to be like some big star in your movie, maybe in that case you have a little more leverage. Even though, listen, Rachel Zegler fancied herself something like that, and all of her crap didn't help her at all. And the same thing with Susan Sarandon. I mean, at this point, what is she? She's how old is Susan Sarandon? She's 80. How old is she?
Oh gosh, Susan Sarandon, she's up there.
I'm not being an ageist, but usually when you're like 80 and somebody is still willing to have you in some movie and you care about that, then better to steer away from weird protests. It's not even that she went to the protests; it's like she actually had some things to say.
Yeah, 78.
78. Yeah. Whatever. In any case, I guess what I'm saying is it's not exclusive. You could be young, you could be diverse, non-diverse, a woman, a man. You could be all these things. But sometimes certain things you do are not going to help you within a certain industry. I mean, I say this as somebody, I'm not like all for cancel culture or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, listen, this cancel, like in the case of actors, it's not exactly a cancel culture situation. It's a situation where if you're an actor, you want people to go see your movie. You want people to go, whether they're white or black or Latino or Asian, you want them to go see your movie. Whether they voted for this guy, they voted for that guy, they believe in this, they believe in that. You want them to go and buy a ticket. And a lot of these actors, the more they go out and just talk about whatever their opinions are, there's a chance that there's people that are not going to agree with that opinion. And perhaps if it's like really extreme and divisive positions on things, you may create a situation that people will not like that. It's always a risk you're going to take, I suppose.
Yep.
That's why I guess what I'm saying is I think that actors and actresses would do great if they spoke less about all their politics and stuff. That's not to say that, like, when the whole Gina Carano thing happened, I said that I think that, what they're doing to her is wrong. The main reason I said it is because all those other actors in Hollywood say whatever they want all the time. Most of the time, nothing happens to them. Maybe there's a few that are so extreme that at the end something happens to them. Most of them, if you look at Pedro Pascal, did whatever he wanted. If nobody said anything to him, it wasn't fair that they said anything to Gina Carano. But if you ask me, I think in a perfect world, neither Pedro Pascal nor Gina Carano have to sit around and talk about their politics all day. That's my personal preference. I miss the days when actors were more kind of mysterious. You didn't know who they were and what they were doing, and the less I knew, the better. Oh, yes, Professor, I forgot about this. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
our next topic. Yeah.
Our next topic. Sorry, you're right. Kamala Harris did something very strange. She's apparently releasing a book, and the book is basically, she documented how she lost the election, and she wants you to celebrate this loss with her. Professor, maybe you can tell us more about it.
My new book is a behind-the-scenes look at my experience leading the shortest presidential campaign in modern history. Sure. Okay, well, let's watch her little video here.
A year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days.
Does it talk about taking the 12 steps? Because, yeah, I mean, at least you're sober for this video, but anyway.
With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward.
She needs money.
Of course.
In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while, but I remain full of hope, and I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals, always on behalf of the people. So thank you for being in this fight with me. I am forever grateful, and I cannot wait for you to read this, and I'll see you out there. Take care.
I don't know
Can't
how that
wait
book
for you
will
to
sell.
buy this because I need money.
Of course she needs money, but I'm saying, I wonder, for me, that looks, I don't know what to tell you. If you lose an election, I don't know what the celebration is here. What kind of insight could she have? She tells us how she lost.
Understand, leftists celebrate losers all the time. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams has never won a freaking election. She's a serial loser. And they freaking love her.
It's strange. I don't get it. It's like,
so, and then they complain left and right about election, oh, you're an election denier or whatever like that. That's exactly what Stacey Abrams is. Every time she loses, oh, it was staged. It was, the vote was played with, whatever. She is disgusting. She's disgusting. She's awful, and she's a loser. But they love her. So the left loves losers. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But so this is crazy. Of course, she's going to write this book. It is going to be packed with some of the biggest whoppers you have ever heard in your life about, oh, it's going to be so perfect. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, no. Oh my God. There's going to be so many lies in this. It's not even going to be funny. So, really, this announcement, I could not believe, I was certain there would be books written about this. I still think there will be books written about everything that happened at the end of the Biden presidency and her getting in, and how what a historic failure. Your 107 days was a massive failure. And there will be at some point a book written about this. And and Empress and M beat me to it. I was going to say, I hope that this book gets filed in the library under the fiction section.
Probably will. But it reminded me of I think it's Meet the Parents, where I think it's Meet the Parents, where he's celebrating getting second place. Maybe it's Meet the Fockers, where his parents, Ben Stiller's parents, they basically have all these kind of second place trophies or something. I vaguely remember that, and Robert De Niro's character is like, why is he celebrating that he got second place? Kind of feels like this thing. It's really strange that somebody loses and she's like, oh, it's the shortest campaign that ever was. I don't know what you're so proud of that. That's not such a good log line for me.
It wasn't a successful campaign. You failed miserably.
Not
you were
only
blown out of the water in the election. You didn't even come close to winning. So.
Right. She didn't come close. She didn't. It's not like if she at least won the popular vote, she could say, well, at least I won the popular vote. She had nothing. She has nothing to hold on to. She lost every swing state. She lost the popular vote. And at the end of the day, she didn't even have to do a primary. Basically, you could claim that if it's like a woman who for years did this primary and had to like dominate her own party and get all the support, and at the end finally she ran and she lost, you could say, well, you can talk about her journey until that moment and things she went through overcoming the odds in her own party. But you can't even say that. She did nothing. She sat there and somebody said, well, you're the candidate now. And when she was vice president, they said that she was in charge of the border. I don't know what. She didn't do anything there. I don't know what she ever did. I would never buy this book. And I say this, I wonder if Democrats, you think Democrats are going to want to read her book? That's just strange to me.
They will lap it up. They think she's going to be the presidential candidate in 2028.
You know what? They're welcome to make her the candidate again.
I hope they do. I hope she runs with AOC. It'll be classic.
I think that AOC is going to run herself. I think that she's going to want to be the top dog.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the comments. How about that?
Let's do it.
Sean Farage, you wrote a book. You couldn't make it through a speech without a teleprompter, but you want people to believe you wrote a book? A book, the retard finder, hilarious account, by the way. A book full of word salad, a must read, I'm sure. How are you not embarrassed to have run one of the worst presidential campaigns in history? You literally had rappers twerking at your events. Look at these idiots. Yeah. Well, hey, retard finder, found one. You won that election, period. They stole it. Yeah. Prove it. Yeah, we stole it. That's how the Republicans, the conservatives stole it. That's why we got both but won every one of the swing states and got the popular vote. Sure. Valentina Gomez, installed by the establishment to skip a fair primary for the Democrats, over $1 billion wasted, bought celebrity endorsements, and let's not forget the border czar that allowed for America to be invaded by the rest of the world.
She was the worst border czar ever.
You suffered one of the most humiliating defeats in American political history, and you wrote a book about it? Wow. Oh. Imagine someone writing a book about how they were handed a nomination without any votes, given $1 billion in cash, and still bungled the election so badly because they were intoxicated most of the time.
It's all very strange. I don't know what the cause for celebration is.
You're the worst VP in history. I highly doubt you wrote a book and made someone, or you wrote a book and made someone on your team write it. Did you ever pay off your failing presidential debt?
Bingo Hasmit says Jasmine Crockett in AOC 2028.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
The only thing is, if they win, like that'll be. imagine those two run and win that like that.
Not a chance in hell.
Jimmy Nature says there's no way in hell that Kamala wrote that book. She can barely speak. Oh, there's definitely probably a ghostwriter there. Reminds me of Cubs fan, only terminally political. Idea for a video. Buy that book and burn it live on stream might do well for engagement. Not even worth that. I don't want to even contribute to the bottom line of that book.
Wait till it ends up at Ollie's for like $2.
Plus, you know, I don't know. I don't need to burn anybody's book. If she wants to write a book that she's a loser, she can do it. I'm gonna
wait till when it shows up at Ollie's for like $2 or $3. I'm gonna buy that and give it to some of my liberal family members as a Christmas present.
Harris booked today. Biden pooped his pants today. A little YOLO. Did he? I don't. I feel like I haven't seen Biden in years.
It wouldn't be the first time.
I haven't seen. I don't know whatever happened to Biden. I feel like ever since he walked out of the White House, there was one time that they brought him to like The View or something that they were all trying to help him complete sentences, and he seemed like he was completely out of it. And I feel like that was the last time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sharp as a tack, but somehow I haven't seen him since the day he left the White House.
Ms. Harris, we don't need to read your book to know why you lost to Trump. You lost because you have the gravitas of a distracted toddler, the charisma of an actuary, and the laugh of a madwoman, and the ability of a DEI hire. You are a ridiculous person.
I mean, she wasn't. If there were actual primaries, she would have never gotten there. You could say I'm not even going to focus on the DEI hire or whatever it is. People can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, she was just like a kind of useless vice president, and without doing any kind of primary and really showing that she's worth something, I think it was clear that she wasn't in her league. I honestly thought, and I'm not saying this now because Tulsi Gabbard actually, crossed over to this other side of the aisle. For years, and especially as sort of an independent voter, I would see Tulsi Gabbard, and I kind of liked her. Even when she was with the Democrats, I said, well, most of these Democrats, I don't know what's up with them, but I kind of like her. And then she wasn't there anymore. So I feel like she was probably their best bet. I don't know if she would have beaten somebody like Trump, but because he had so many years to prepare and he already had his backing and popularity. But I'm just saying that Tulsi Gabbard at least looked like somebody that could be a candidate. It wouldn't have been an embarrassment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at her in the interviews. If you sit and interview Tulsi Gabbard, she looks like she can answer your questions. I know this sounds, like very trivial, but if you look at Kamala Harris, she couldn't complete a sentence.
No, it was just word salad left and right. And then whenever she'd get nervous and her ridiculous cackling. Oh, jeez.
I mean, listen, she did. I don't know Kamala Harris. I don't really care about her one way or another. She did the best she could under those circumstances. They told her she was a candidate. She just wasn't the right person for that. Even if you had, I know what I'm trying to say. Even if, let's say, who I think was their best person in that whole party, if Tulsi Gabbard was the one that they would have said she's running against Trump, even then, Tulsi Gabbard would have had an uphill battle. And I'll tell you why. Because Trump, once he lost in 2020, he effectively started his campaign. It doesn't matter what you feel about the results for 2020. Putting all of that aside, he already started working on his campaign in that moment. He was basically campaigning for something like 4 years, and she had 107 days. I think that what they needed to do is they needed to acknowledge that Biden doesn't know what's going on, say that he's not going to run for re-election, do primaries, which I think in that case, Tulsi Gabbard would have won. And in that case, she could have at least given a longer, lengthy, and more reasonable fight for Donald Trump. It may not have helped her, but you know what? I think that Tulsi Gabbard, the one thing I can say is if you put her in front of people and you ask her questions and you tell her to speak, she can at least speak. She doesn't sound like she can't complete a sentence, which is more than I can say about Kamala. Just felt like she couldn't say anything. Considering the fact that she's a lawyer, it's kind of weird, Professor.
Yeah, that she can't argue anything.
Can't complete a sentence. Yeah.
The alternate title for this book, I think this would work really well.
Let me see. What is it? That's kind of funny. Yeah. I try not to like give into those things. You know what? I don't know, like, you know, what she did and didn't do, why she got the jobs she got. A lot of people can say whatever, but sometimes maybe you're a person that does all of that, but you're still sharp at the end, and you're like a good businesswoman or something like that. I just never saw that side of her. I never saw that she did anything spectacular, Kamala. That's the truth. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to think of a situation.
Well, you know, when it comes to conspiracy theories and whatnot, you know, I tend to just have my own little feeling. It's, you know, an Occam's razor. Just the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. And given how clearly and utterly inept she is as a politician, how terrible she is at speaking to the public, how useless she is at developing policy, the only way that I can work my head around how she would get into the positions of power that she's had is that she's blowing somebody. That's it. I mean, just she needs knee pads. That's the only thing I can work out in my head, because she's clearly inept at everything else that's necessary to be somebody who reaches the level, you know, that she reached as a politician. So,
I mean, the fact that she obviously did have an affair with the governor or whatever. Wasn't it the governor? Why did they say it was the mayor? I thought she had an affair with the governor.
No, I thought it was the mayor.
Oh, it was the mayor.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Willie Brown.
Right. So sorry, the mayor. Yeah, I agree with you that she did have an affair with him. He was significantly older. It's not a good look. Maybe these type of things helped her career. All I can do is this. I'm the type of person that I'm willing to put all of that aside and just look at the end, at the time that she had a job to do and what she did. However she got there, whatever happened, maybe there's things I know, maybe there's things that I don't know. Maybe there were things that she did great. I don't know. I'm saying that all I can look at is how she was as a vice president. There were certain things that she was supposedly in charge of. Those things came out very badly. She couldn't complete sentences in interview. If you're not comfortable, forget about your past or whatever. If you're not comfortable being in the public eye, if you can't sit around and have a chat and talk to people and sound like you know what you're talking about, then you shouldn't be president. It's simple. I'm approaching this not from like an emotional situation. You can't answer a few questions in an interview. You can't be president. And say what you want. Again, I've always said this. I don't put any of these politicians on a pedestal. That includes Trump. But what I told you, and I've told you many times, Trump, his whole life is a schmooze. His whole life, he's been going to meetings. He's been meeting with people and building stuff and going to cocktail parties and talking about all this shit. He talks. You could sit him down now. He can talk for 7 hours straight. You put him on that Joe Rogan thing, whatever you put him in the campaign, he just sat there and talked for hours. Anywhere you invited him, he can talk your ear off.
Stephen Mack is particularly fond of Cynthia Holt's comment here. So.
But do you get what I'm trying to say? Like she had such a disadvantage that she can't even answer 3 questions when Cynthia Holt. That is kind of funny. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm willing to put aside anything. I don't know what she did in her past. I try not to be judgmental. I can only speak about what she looked like as a candidate. And he went around on podcasts where he sat and talked to somebody for 5 hours straight without taking a break, and she couldn't go to any place and answer 3 questions in a row. And mind you, he's significantly older than her, and he somehow like talked her under the table. So if you're a candidate for a president and you can't answer a few questions, you can't be the president. Not in our day and age. Maybe back in the day in like the 1800s, you could do something and people wouldn't know. Even then, I don't think it would work, but maybe you could get away with it. But not these days.
You could get away with it. You get away with it during COVID when we wanted to just hide everyone in the basement and only have pre-recorded speeches be the only things that ever came. They managed to get away with that with Joe Biden. If it had been a normal election, if we had had normal, discourse, normal debates, normal stuff happening, I'm not sure Joe Biden could have won. But what happened. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the thing with Joe Biden and that election until today, there's so many versions of what may have gone down there with that election. But one thing that I will say for sure is that Joe Biden, to say that he had the media and like everything on his side in a way that was just extreme. And yes, even that whole situation with the laptop and all that stuff, you had everybody running interference for him, everybody covering for him. Media that seemingly presented itself as neutral, even though you and I knew they weren't neutral, just cleaning up messes left and right just so this guy gets elected. And I don't know if I've ever seen it quite as much as what they did there. For me, the part that like I could have overlooked a lot of things, but the fact that the laptop, they buried that story and that they like banned anybody online in social media accounts from even regular newspapers that would say that that's a real story, that they shut down their accounts. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, there was that, and there's been all sorts of other stuff now. We're starting to find out that there were a whole bunch of government employees, even the Obamas, that were involved in the Russia hoax and all the stuff that led up to it, all the stuff that led to, the surveillance of Trump's campaign, all the stuff that led to the Russia hoax and all the, fake crap that happened, the different investigations that happened through Congress and having a special counsel and everything in place. Like all of it was BS, all of it. And it was backed and approved by the Obamas and by Hillary Clinton. So real interesting to see where that's gonna go next month or so.
Well, I saw today that there was something that they showed some memo that Hillary was doing something with Russia. I just quickly looked at it. I don't know if it was something legit or if it's just some stupid memo. I don't know how because people were like, "Oh, it's the smoking gun." Did you see that today?
Yeah, I saw a few different things. Let me see if I
can feel free to share it because I trust you, Professor.
This is probably the memorandum that you were talking about. Let me see. If I can find it here. Okay. I think we'll share this one here. I think this is the one you probably saw today. There's a handful of different ones out there. But if you want to share that, Bryce, we can look through it just real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
I feel like in the other platform you're just able to share it, so I didn't.
Yeah, you can like leave it shared and then just straight up. Yeah,
I see. Sorry about that.
So this is one of the things that's come out July 2016. Media analysis on DNC hacking appears solid. This is an important story because it will be the first time that we know of that a state deliberately uses infiltration and publication of data to interfere in a U.S. election. At the same time, politicization is on the table. I have been a bit surprised that nobody has mentioned this 18-month-long story. In their analysis, it makes explicit reference to U.S. elections. Julie says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Now it is good for a post-convention bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil on the fire. Outcome is far from clear as Americans are more keen on their own woes, and Hillary is hardly good-looking as far as credibility is concerned. Anyway, things are ghastly for U.S.-Russian relations. Blank also received from T1 a slightly different version of this email. This version includes a statement that later the FBI will put more oil on the fire and contains an added scene. And so it moves on. It shows another version of the email. Zoom out here. HRC, that is Hillary Rodham Clinton,
Yes.
approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russia hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing emails, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is that making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue, say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election, to feel menacing, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact. IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. So saying they're going to, we don't have any evidence that any of this exists. This Russia, Trump collusion, them working together, whatever. But we're going to find that evidence. We're going to speed up. We're going to find it. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. So, these were all things that went through Hillary's desk. They went through her email. She saw them. These were memos that were part of what she went through and approved. So, yeah, she helped. She said, yeah, totally. Go do this. Go out there and make up this BS.
Nothing's going to happen, though. You know that.
Yeah, I seriously doubt anything will happen. You're right. I don't think they're going to be able to find a way to actually use any of this to actually hurt anybody. What's the chat have to say about it?
I don't think any of them are.
Dude, bro, Seth 420. It means liberal mega donor George Soros' team knew the whole Clinton plan for Russiagate hoax 4 days before the FBI opened up the probe. So did Obama, Brennan, and Comey. Yep, exactly. Days before, supposedly, this huge investigation into Russian Trump collusion happened, there were a whole bunch of politicos that were already calling the shots. So the FBI was actively helping to discredit a candidate, and they were doing so at the behest of a bunch of people in the DNC and other places outside. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not shocked about any of this. Nothing surprises me at this point, so I'm not shocked about any of this. The only thing that'll shock me is that if anybody actually does anything with this, I feel like so many times we've seen things over the years. It doesn't even matter. I'm talking about throughout history, even whatever party, whatever you want, nothing ever happens. There's certain people, and this always takes me back to the George Carlin thing. There's certain people in these kind of circles that somehow nothing ever happens to them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Slick Willie and his wife. Yeah. Nothing ever really seems to happen to them.
Well, what can you do?
It is interesting that now that Trump and his people have moved in and they've taken over offices, taken over in different areas, that they're finding a whole bunch of this stuff that apparently they forgot to destroy. They forgot to get rid of it. And they're like, hey, look at this. There's a whole bag full of stuff that was supposed to have been burned, but wasn't. It just got tossed in this room. What do we do with it? Oh, we'll look through it. Oh, well, look at that. This is a whole bunch of stuff from, deep state people all about the collusion hoax. So, yeah,
what
it's-
about Hillary? Has she tweeted anything since this thing came out?
No, she's not saying anything.
Does Obama still tweet, or they both now don't tweet anymore?
He did say something. Someone talked to him the other day, and he was like, "Oh, all this is ridiculous. I never had anything to do with this, whatever."
Right,
we'll
that I
see.
remember that he made
We'll
some
see about
comment.
that.
But did he tweet any more stuff online, or that was it?
No, not that I know of.
Basically, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that did they have anything with him in Russia, or was it all just nonsense? Like, did they have anything to work with, or did he even do anything, or it was just all?
No, it was completely made up. It was completely and totally fake. Millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of time and man hours were poured behind, this, poured into doing investigations into this stuff. And it was always fake. Every bit of it. It was made up. It was sold as a reason for them to start investigating this and that and whatever. And so they got away with it for a really long time until finally they got an independent counsel in there that took a look at all of it and said, this was fake. So they got hundreds of millions of dollars, tons of time and effort. And
So
yeah, it
my
was all
question is-
just BS. It was BS from the start.
All that, like, I thought that during this whole Mueller thing, didn't they go after like the Michael Cohen and all this other stuff, General Flynn? What happened with all those people? So what did they actually do, and why did they give all those other people a hard time?
Most of them, several of them were, got, just torn to bits and had their lives ruined because they refused to testify before Congress. Which normally is not, there's this happens, and people there's fines, and they pay the fines, and you move on. But they took it really far and basically, started destroying people's lives because that's what they wanted. They wanted to ruin everyone. The Biden administration wanted to destroy anyone who ever had anything to do with Donald Trump. And if they couldn't get to him, they were going to destroy the people around him as severely as they could
I'll
to try
tell
and
you
send
what.
a message.
I'll tell you the way I see it. This is what it seems like, even from these emails. Basically, the way it works in politics, and especially in these type of places with power, any person now that you and I are going to focus on, and we're going to say we want to find something about him or about the people surrounding him, you're probably going to find something. I mean, there's nothing, forget about parties now. This whole thing, when you're like up in power and all those places, there's a lot of corruption there. So if you really insist and you start nitpicking over every little thing, you'll probably find somebody that at minimum bent the rules. This is a bipartisan thing. I do think there's a lot of corruption, and I'm not trying to point personally fingers at anybody.
No question. No question.
So the way I see it, if I understand these emails and these things with Hillary, it's like, we don't really have anything, but let's just start, poking, and maybe something will come out of it. That's what it feels like. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like the strategy was, we don't really have anything, but if we start giving people a hard time, we'll find something on somebody. And in general, forget about the fact that I don't love corruption and in Washington and all that stuff, which is a separate matter. I also don't love this idea of just like, going fishing like this fishing expedition of, let's just try to bother people and maybe we'll dig up some dirt on them. It feels very House of Cards-ish. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that it's not that I think that somebody that's a Republican can't do, maneuvers as well. It's just the fact that he was already the president and they went through such great lengths, and that it ended up something that the media was reporting on for 2 years. If you remember Stephen Colbert, that was canceled now, every night he talked about Mueller coming and how Donald Trump is going to go to jail and how this and this. All day and all night they were talking about this with the collusion and all this stuff. And at the end, it just seemed like a bunch of nothing. Like you said, they managed to capture a few people around him, start going after them for things that had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now maybe those things weren't good that they did, but I'm saying that it almost, I don't know how to explain it. It's sometimes when you have a trial and you want to prove that somebody did something, if you didn't get like a search warrant and if you didn't do an investigation that led properly to that person, a lot of times those cases fall apart and a lot of the stuff is sort of dismissed in court. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And here, really the basis of them going after certain people and like going into such detail and really being nitpicky to try to find things, this was based on this thing. And this thing was actually a maneuver. And that's probably part of the problem. But regardless, there is a lot of corruption. That's a whole different story, I guess.
Yeah, it's wild.
I guess what I'm saying is, if I zoom out, obviously this is a shitty thing, but if I zoom out, I think that in general, there's a lot of things that politicians do that you know, if we knew everything about everybody, there's probably a lot of stuff that we wouldn't like. And these people, I don't think anything's going to happen to them. Nobody that we mentioned, nothing's going to happen to anybody. Somebody's going to take a carpet and it's all going to be swept under the carpet.
Yeah, most likely. You're right. You're right. What else did we have to talk about? Did we have anything else on the list tonight?
There was a trailer. It's not that I play many games these days, but there was a trailer for Battlefield 6. And from what I recall, that trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Not really my genre. Don't play a lot of that, but I also saw the trailer. Let's see if I can find.
Let's look at it because I remember looking at it.
The reveal trailer.
Kind of cool.
And some of the early buzz about this game is pretty good. They're saying this is going to be the Call of Duty killer. It's going to be it's likely to be a big hit. Some new ideas, some new approaches to some stuff here. So, and of course, well, we'll get to that here. Let me see if I can share this here. That is the wrong button. There we go. There we go. And yeah, you have to put it on screen for me. Yep, there we go.
I did. I learned.
Yes.
My fellow citizens, my fellow. We will prevail.
We're ready, Mr. President.
My fellow citizens, today represents a dark day in our history. With this monstrous, unprovoked attack, no country is safe from their reach. For all those serving on our behalf, our prayers go with you. For the Pax Armada mercenaries who are watching now, I have a message. It's over.
Let's get to work.
Come, your masters of war. Hear the bells of big guns. You hide behind walls.
30 seconds.
They turn and run farther when the fast bullets fly.
Move fast. Move decisive. Dagger on my 6. Send it.
And I will bet you die. And your death will come soon. I'll follow your casket by the pale afternoon. I'll watch while you clear the ship now. And I'll stand over your grave till I'm sure that you're dead.
Ready to target for the F-61.
Yeah, so there's a few different things they've done. One thing, and someone mentioned in the chat, Stephen Mack was mentioning in chat, they've brought back classes for the different characters that you play as on the different teams, and that's something that a lot of people have been looking for going forward. You're a team, so you're playing as a particular class. You got somebody else playing a different class, and so you get to specialize a little bit in what it is that you're doing. It's not just the weapon you pick up or anything. Yeah, so it looks really good, and so far, like I said, a lot of the impressions have been really good.
It looked. Listen, like I said, I rarely play games these days, but I actually think this game looked cool. If I got a chance, I'd probably. I don't know if I will get a chance, but if I could get a chance to do it, I'd probably play. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is the vice president. A ripple effect says to me, Battlefield 6 is us trying to take everything we've done over the last 20 years of Battlefield, everything we've done great, everything our fans love, take the best of that and push it further than we ever have. The destruction, the classes, the core combat, the maps, the vehicles, new features like drag and revive, game changer for support players. It is the culmination of everything, and there's no compromise anymore. So this looks fantastic. Again, not really the type of thing I usually go in for playing, but occasionally I'll jump into a title like this and try it out. And this does look fantastic. Granted, the video that we saw there was in engine, but it was not actual gameplay. But it was in engine and it looked really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. I was happy. Another thing that I forgot to mention, once again, that Jerome Powell guy didn't lower the rates.
Oh yeah, Jerome Powell. Yep. Once again, I was actually watching the conference, and there were a lot of people. I will say this: not only did he not lower the rates, this is the first time in, I think I said it's like a couple of decades now that they had a double dissension. They had two members of their board that dissented, saying we need to lower rates. It was not a unanimous decision of this board that he leads, right? So they keep saying, "Oh, we've got to wait for more info on all these tariffs because the tariffs could cause all of this inflation, and the inflation numbers aren't where we like them to be." I get it. I understand that he says they've got some rules. They've got some ideas, specifically this and that's supposed to happen before they drop it. But I didn't see that much worry about it with lowering it this last year right before the election. So
that's the thing that he'll never be able to bullshit his way out of, is that he gave Biden a bunch of gifts trying to get him into office, and since then he's not willing to do anything. Ian says from Rebecca Gold says from Pong to Battlefield, blimey. Yeah, Pong is a good game.
It's quite the change, right?
Still like Pong, but yes, it is quite the change. But what I was going to say was, Professor, remember how I told you that I don't like this guy? I'm not saying today. Remember how the first time we mentioned him, I told you I don't like that guy? And every time I was like, now Trump for a while has been saying too late and all that stuff about him. I think that before Trump ever even started giving him nicknames, I told you that I wasn't fond of this guy. Really early on, I told you that I wasn't fond of.
Yep.
Like, give me credit, Professor. This is one of those things that I told you. There's something about this guy that I don't like, and I told you that like a really long time ago. And since then, it's the same thing over and over again. It just seems to me at this point that, yeah, I understand that he doesn't need to lower rates every second, but at this point, it already seems petty. It doesn't seem like it's based on anything aside from him like wanting to give Trump the middle finger, and that's really not his job now. You know what I mean? That's not why he's there. And I don't know. I understand that they can't fire him. I guess they tried to ruffle his feathers with that $3 billion stuff that they said that he's overspending on. But
yeah, he's spending a whole bunch of over $2.5 billion they're trying to spend on the Federal Reserve like building that the workers work in. It's ridiculous. Just
Price of narcissism. I'm the narcissist because I said that I was right about him. I listen, I don't always do that, but if I insist, if I say like something and then it turns out to be true, I want to sort of, because there's nobody else. Nobody's going to say, hey, you did good analysis. You did good. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice if somebody recognized. At least I like to bring the receipts, Caleb. Sorry if I came off as a narcissist. I apologize.
No. Let's see.
Good to have the chat keep me humble. Thank you, Caleb.
Well, we will. I was trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, go ahead.
Not because you said it, because you said it 7 times.
Oh,
I see. I don't quite understand what you mean, but okay. In any case, I have said for a long time that I don't like him, and I still don't. I don't like saying I don't hate anybody, but he's just, there's something that's always seems fishy about that guy to me. I don't know if fishy is the word. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, a little off.
A little off. That's a good way to describe him.
Yeah.
In any case, there is something else that maybe we can go over. Let's see. Let me find out. You actually, I didn't see it, but you saw The Naked Gun.
The Naked Gun. Yes, I did get to see The Naked Gun. And I enjoyed it. I'm not going to get into any spoilers at all. I don't want to go too far into it, mess things up for anybody, because genuinely, I thought it was pretty funny. There very, very few times when I kind of, felt it was, kind of cringe. There were a few places, but for the most part, I thought the humor was there. I enjoyed it. I thought Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, I thought both did fine in this. Both have some pretty solid comedic, bits here in this film. It also has that the guy who played Stingray in Cobra Kai. I always forget his name.
I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was also in Fantastic Four as Mole Man.
Right. I didn't mind him, by the way, as Mole Man.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I thought that was I genuinely thought that was kind of a funny take on the character of Mole Man. That he's just this arrogant kind of guy. Like, look, I'm doing my thing down here. What's your problem? I was amused by that take on Mole Man. I thought that was fine. I mean, he's a villain. He doesn't have to be, not every villain has to be brooding and cold and stuff like
the reason why in Fantastic Four I didn't mind him is that he brought a little bit of like character suddenly in a movie that was boring me. I was just sitting there like bored, and suddenly I saw him and I like woke up for a second. At least he said some lines, and he brought a little bit of like, I don't know, he can be a little bit funny, a little bit, or amusing or something like that. So he just started talking. At least I like half smiled or something. That was like one of the highlights of the Fantastic Four, which otherwise I just wanted to go to sleep. But yeah, you saw this Naked Gun movie. You don't have to give spoilers, but generally,
So, like I said, I think Liam Neeson does fine. The comedy is not as awful as you might think. It's not like just cringe, terrible stuff. Given that, this. The original films are so good, right? And we've seen so much terrible comedy in recent years, and this just genuinely works most of the time. There's lots of visual gags, tons of visual gags. Some of them you're gonna have to rewind to even like you're if you get to watch this later on, you're gonna be like, wait, what? Because you're not gonna catch all of it the first time around. There's a lot of visual gags in here. Most of them work pretty well. Like I said, Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Ed Jr., partnered up with Frank Drebin Jr., played by Liam Neeson. I think he does a funny job. Most of the time, he's the butt of the joke. He's on the receiving end of some sort of awful thing that happens, and that's fine. It works. It's funny. You see, the villain in this is kind of silly, kind of ridiculous. Of course, the villain is a rich guy, ultra wealthy tech mogul guy. Pamela Anderson, I thought she did just fine. She delivers her jokes well. I think her chemistry with Liam Neeson works well in the film. They are now rumored to be an actual couple. I don't know how far that's actually going to go, but interesting. But overall, like I said, I did enjoy this. I thought they did do a bit of a race swap here. They've got CCH Pounder now that's playing the chief, but of course it's not really a race swap. It's a new department. It's a new police squad. Many years on, but they have CCH Pounder there. But even that, like, I thought she did a good job there. And there's there's a running gag with her and her husband, which is very I thought was very amusing. Felt very much like the original type of humor that we would have seen in Naked Gun or Police Squad.
Well, to be fair, CCH Pounder is a good actress.
She really is. She's a fantastic actress. There's let's see what else I want to say. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good laughs in this. It's not overly raunchy for the most part. There's I mean, you've probably the first few minutes of the movie you've seen in trailers, but there's a couple of running gags in this. One that really amused me is that there's Frank Drebin gets an electric car. And it's like a Tesla with like auto drive, whatever. And so that's kind of a running gag, him in this car that's supposed to drive itself, although he's supposed to be paying attention to it driving like a Tesla. It's not like 100%, but he doesn't quite understand that, so he lets the car drive itself when he really shouldn't. That's amusing. And then there's a long running gag throughout the movie with coffee. And you'll pick up on it when you see it. You'll pick up on it pretty quick. At first, I was like, they keep doing this. It's like comedy torture. Like they keep doing it, and then you're like, oh, this is getting old. And then they keep doing it, and now you're laughing again because they just they keep doing it, and they keep smacking you in the face with this same joke, which is pretty funny. And then there's another gag. Again, I'm not going to ruin it. There's a gag. You kind of see a bit of it in one of the last trailer, where he's driving in the electric car in a car chase, and there's some subversion of the typical car chase, scene in there, like driving through a pane of glass, and I've found that really very funny. So, this is not going to blow the world up. I still don't think this is going to do great at the theater. I think a lot of people will prefer to go see The Naked Gun, prefer to go see comedies like this and just watch them in their own living rooms, right? And they're not going to pay big ticket prices to go see a goofy comedy, good or not. Right. I just don't see it doing well in the theater. I could be wrong. And I hope it does make money. I hope it makes its budget back. It's not bad. I had a good time with it, but I don't know. The after credit scene is actually quite hilarious. There's a cameo in there that's really, really funny. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. Don't want to go too far into it, but I thought it was pretty amusing. It was better than I thought it would be. Might even go take my son to see it. He kind of likes some of these comedies like this. He might have a good time with it. So maybe I'll take him to see this this weekend. My wife and daughter are going to be busy with some other stuff. Maybe we'll sneak out. But yeah, there's a bunch of the gags you've kind of already seen in some of the trailers. But there's plenty more here, and honestly, I thought it played out pretty well. So I'm sure we'll start hearing a lot more opinions from others. I know that Tom from Midnight's Edge, he was headed out to go see it this evening, and there are a few other people I talked to were planning to go see it here in the next day or two. So we'll wait and see. But right now the reviews are pretty good. You can see the tomato meter. Obviously, I trust. Not going to trust the tomato meter too far, but there's a lot of good buzz around this. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it. So if this is your kind of thing, you enjoy a good silly comedy, go take a chance on this. I think you're going to have a good time.
I mean, I like comedy. It's just there's such a big responsibility when they do the Naked Gun.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm willing to give it a chance. I mean, I haven't seen a funny comedy in a while. I really would be nice if I sat and there were some jokes that somebody actually made me laugh. That would be nice.
Yep. They don't worry too much about pulling their punches in this, and I thought it was pretty funny. And there's even a joke about the size of Liam Neeson's dick. So there you go. You'll get to enjoy that.
Why? Is there a joke I don't know there?
Oh, you've been on Mr. Brown's channel that many times and you don't know about Liam Neeson's legendarily long.
I feel like I've heard this before. I feel like I've heard this, but I don't remember the details. What is it?
Well, I don't know the details. I haven't seen it myself, but rumors are that he's packing. And
how would they know though? How does Brown know this?
There's been rumors that have happened for a few different things. I believe he dated a few different actresses at some point who've mentioned that he has a particularly impressive unit.
Did not know that.
So there's like I said, there's even a joke about his impressive dong in this. So yeah,
interesting. I had no idea about any of this happening, but good to know. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot for sure. I'm gonna try it out. Like, not his dong. I mean the movie. I'm gonna try the movie out. Hopefully it'll be okay. And then yeah, Phantom Monk is saying it's big shoes to fill. It absolutely is.
Yeah. Rumors about Liam Neeson's size mainly stem from claims made by Janice Dickinson, a famous model. She stated in 2006 that Liam Neeson has the biggest penis of any man alive, describing it as if an Evian bottle fell out of his pants.
Wow, that's interesting.
Dickinson has reiterated these claims multiple times in other interviews and in her memoir, where she mentioned having had a brief fling with Neeson before his rise to stardom. Additionally, there are humorous and persistent rumors from various sources and even some talk in entertainment circles, but apart from Dickinson's comments, no direct confirmation or credible details exists.
Interesting that you mentioned Janice Dickinson. Never mind. In any case,
yeah.
What was I going to say? Never mind. In any case, I'll say that I've met her before.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was saying it. And she was kind of a strange character. I think she has a British accent, right?
I think so.
I recall her having a British accent.
The last thing I saw her in.
The reason why is that years ago she was on some reality show, and I worked for some company, and we did something that involved her going to an event or something like that. And I believe she actually stopped by our offices. So I actually interacted with her, and I think she had a British accent or something like that. Again, sometimes I throw these names around, and none of these people are like my friends or besties, or they'd probably be hard pressed to remember, even if they met me in some kind of office setting, or if something even happened at an event or whatever. I probably remember more than they remember. So just want to make that clear. I don't want to create like an illusion that somehow all these people call me to hang out all the time, if you know what I mean.
We know you've seen Liam Neeson's unit. It's
I haven't.
okay.
I've never met Liam Neeson. I actually like Liam Neeson, but I've never met him.
I like him a lot, actually. I think he would probably be a cool guy to hang with. He seems pretty chill.
See, I would have preferred it if he stopped by my office and hung out rather than Janice Dickinson. Instead of Liam Neeson, I got like Janice Dickinson and Debbie Gibson. That's what I get. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once in a while, maybe I have better ones. Oh, but you know what? I have met Tommy Lee before.
Oh my!
Tommy Lee was married to Pamela Anderson, so at least there's that.
Yeah. And see, Caitlin Levine says, sounds more like it was more of a sequel than a reboot. Would that be correct? I would say it's what they refer to as a requel. You're kind of rebooting the universe, rebooting the franchise, but it does happen in the same timeline as the original films. There's multiple references. In fact, even a pivotal scene at the end of the film that tie back to him being his father's son, him being Frank Drebin Jr. and asking his father to help him and so on. So there's definitely a tie back to the original series. But this is not, I was worried we were getting real stupid Seth MacFarlane Family Guy type humor. That's not here. We're not getting that. And like I said, I enjoyed it. It's not one of the greatest films ever made, not even one of the greatest comedies ever made, but I was laughing. I had a fun time watching it. So, yeah.
Well, that's something, I guess.
Yep.
And
everyone's gonna have different opinions. I don't know, but yeah, I had a good time with it. It was some light fun.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm gonna see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be okay. And yeah, I saw that thing that he was on, Ricky Gervais, with the improv thing. I remember that thing that they did, and it was mildly funny. I was worried that Liam Neeson wouldn't be funny in this, but if you say that Liam Neeson is actually pretty decent in this, that actually.
Well, remember, he's the straight man, right?
Right.
He's doing the same thing that we got, for Frank Drebin in the original films. He's there's ridiculous stuff happening around him. He's being the straight man. So
is he good at that though? Because Leslie Nielsen was the master. That's why.
Yeah, he is not Leslie Nielsen. He's not, and nobody else will ever be Leslie Nielsen. But he does a fine job. And there's, you've seen a few of the gags in some of the trailers or some of the clips that have been released. Like when Pamela Anderson asks him about how his wife passed. Really good, strong arm, and then some of the replies after that. So I like I said, I thought overall, I thought he did really well. And I like Liam Neeson. I think he's a fun performer.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to see how it goes. I'm gonna have to check it out. Well, I think that we've gone over all of our stuff today, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And I want to thank everybody. I've been looking at the numbers briefly here and there throughout our stream, and considering the technical issues we had initially, it didn't really hurt our overall stream. There were, at its kind of peak, there were a good amount of people here on both platforms watching us. And I appreciate that they made the leap from one stream to another, and everybody was very patient. And I want to thank everybody for that. And I guess what is it? Oh, if you're new on Rumble and you haven't signed up, you should do that and also follow us. And at the same time, if you're on YouTube and you're watching us there and you haven't yet subscribed, you should do that right away, immediately. And I guess, yeah. Dude Bro Seth says that he now, based on your review, Professor, he's considering seeing The Naked Gun.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And I don't know if with all the crazy stuff that was going on, if you have a way for us to thank everybody that was here.
Sure enough. Let's see. Over on Rumble, we had Jimmy Nature, Phantom Monk, One Dirty Bird, who did leave us a $2 Rumble rant. So thank you.
Greatly
again, One Dirty Bird.
appreciated, yes.
Yeah, Bingo Hazmet, Double R Star, Elizabeth Quince, Empress NM, Dubrosef 420, Pyromancer, and Rowdy Dowdy. So thank you for being with us, hanging out with us over on Rumble. Over on YouTube, we had I Have Nudic, Badfoot, Bishop Judas, Caleb Levine, DJ Play Nice, Davion Donaldson, Darren M, Deeple 101, Emperor Goodwin, Empress NM, Ircol De Stefano, FKHC 2005, Gabby 13, Granola Grin, Hang Solo, Istophobos, Janet or Jeanette, Jim Noxious, John Z, Justin Channels, Kay Roberts, Kalekioki, Kendrick Lama. See, I always want to say Lamar. Kendrick Lama.
I think that the whole idea that he's
I know
Kendrick
that.
Lama,
I know that. I just every time I read it, I know it's going to be Lama, and I still say Lamar. Kendrick Lama, Marla Sharondoff, Mary White, Mr. X51, Marokstro, Iniminiminim, Phantomunk, Rebecca Gold, Samsung, Sean Green, Stephen Mack, SWD40, Tim Hayes, Tomahawk 511, Whalem 03, Yidus, and Zun RJ5. So thank you all for joining us. And if I missed anybody on either platform, sorry about that. I did my best to collect everybody's names here. And of course, having switched streams back at the beginning because of whatever was happening, I'm sure maybe there might have been some people right there at the beginning that I lost. But it's good to see everybody here. Glad you're all joining us. And really appreciate you hanging out with us each Tuesday and Thursday here on the Night Owl.
Is there anything you wanted to plug, Professor?
Well, obviously, I want everybody to come back and hang out with us again on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. Me and Price just talking about whatever's happening during the week. But yes, normally you'll catch me hanging out with Mr. Brown Alliance with Price is often over there. We'll see Rebecca Gold, Ian Mega Geek hanging out over there as well for the Sunday Musings on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And then tomorrow I will be joining the B-roll stage for B-sides. It's always Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be hanging out with them. We'll be watching a movie. We'll be having some fun. And,
is that the 100th episode, or
this,
is that
this is 99 this week? We will be moving on to the 100th episode, likely the following week. So
okay. Because I remember that you saying that 100 will be a more serious celebration, and you said that I should stop by, and I said that I wanted to do that, but I guess it's not this time; it's next time.
Yeah, it'll be here in a couple weeks, and Adam Gray is going to reach out and let you know when that'll be. We'll hang out. I'm not sure what he's got planned for that night, so might probably
problem,
be a
but
movie, might be some games. I don't know. We'll see.
If you're having guests, I'd love to be there to celebrate the 100th episode with you guys, if it works, of course.
Yeah. All righty.
No pressure, though.
No pressure. Oh no, it's all in fun. We're just hanging out, having fun. I don't know what movie he's got planned or anything like that. So, or games or whatever it is. We do a bunch of different stuff, and it's always when there's a bunch of people for a special event, bunch of people popping in and out. It's always a lot of fun. So
I want to echo what Professor was saying here. I'm really grateful, in spite of all this crazy stuff that was happening with the stream. Really great that we hung out, everybody here, and he's saying, "Fun stream, guys. What I've seen of it." I guess he's talking about us.
Yes.
In any case, nice to see you, Ian. One day you should join us. I know this is like when you're waking up, so maybe it's not a good time, but one day you should join us. It'd be nice to hang out. And yeah, I think that we've done our thing and we can head out now, right?
Yeah, sounds good. You all take care.
Bye.